Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. You know what this is. This is Way Out Wednesday. This is Way Out Wednesday. So you give us a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. And whatever's on your heart, we will talk about it and talk about it in its entirety. But before we go another step further, got to say good morning. We got Captain Leonard with us this morning. Good morning, Leonard. How you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Sir Frank Logan. Sir Frank Logan, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, world. How's everybody?
Hey, doing good, doing good. You know, this is Way Out Wednesday, so we talk about whatever's on the table. Don't have a topic, but I do have something to keep the flow going. And I'm gonna ask a question, Frank. I'm gonna come to you first with this question, and I want to hear your perspective on it. What does it mean, or have we lost the idea or the whole concept of it takes a village? It takes a village. Have we lost that whole concept? And what exactly does it takes a village? What does it mean?
Well, we haven't lost it, Raheem. We understand that it would benefit. You know what? Let me rethink that thought. I'm not going to say it would benefit our children to interact with our community
Mm-hmm.
because before when we were coming up, we had grown people. Now we have a lot of big people.
Mm-hmm.
They're big, they're of age, but they're not the people that you want speaking into your kid's life.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, at one time, that it is in the right situation, it can be very helpful when you have different people who are mature, who are like-minded, who have your family's best interests in mind
Mm-hmm.
to be able to speak into, different members of your family's life.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll be hard pressed to find a lot of people that are thinking clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I agree with the concept, but I got to know something about you before you begin to talk to my kids or interact with my family, the people in my inner circle, because there's a lot of people out here right now, man. Unfortunately, like I said, there's a lot of people that are big, that are of age for you to say they're grown-ups,
Mm-hmm.
but they're just immature.
Now, with you saying that, I have to ask the question: have people over the last generations, decades, have people really changed that much?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
Not only have people changed that much, the people that we should value, we've dismissed.
Mm.
We've dismissed our seniors. Um, we've dismissed the people that are wise. We chase people that have status and money.
Mm-hmm.
So and we let them call the shots. So yeah, people have definitely changed. And then you have grandmothers that are, that aren't even 30.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that wisdom that you would expect from a grandmother, these are just kids. These are just really kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah, it's tough right now.
Okay, Leonard, what do you say to that, man? What has happened? Have we moved away from it takes a village, and what does it really mean? It takes a village. What does that really mean? What is that concept?
Well, of course, we know that the concept comes from our ancestry. And what people do not understand is if you no longer have morals and values, what are you going to village about?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have anything in common other than the color of your skin, that's not the definition of village,
Mm-hmm.
which most people seem to think so, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people who have the same moral values and standards coming together and providing for themselves and operating as such as a community. Now, I had a village.
Mm-hmm.
My village consisted of my family.
Okay.
My family is just that big.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have an extended family. So, and we have the same morals and values at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may have made mistakes, but see, we did not support all of these children without fathers.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't something to be applauded. Only reason why a woman shouldn't have a husband or the father should be with his kids is if he's dead. You hear me?
Mm. Okay.
So one, I don't even look for, when some people are having this discussion, I have to clarify what they mean as a village. Because just like Frank said, just because you're black don't mean you can be in my village.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Frank, what do you say to that, man? Just because you're black, and that's a powerful statement, man. If people, I'll mute your line for me there, Leonard. That's a powerful statement there, man. Just because you're black don't mean you're in my village. And there's a lot of truth in that, because because we got the same pigmentation in our skin don't mean that we're the same. What do you say to that, Frank?
It absolutely and I don't want to be too harsh, because there's some truths that I can say to certain people and they can digest it, and there's other people that are going to be immediately offended without thinking about what I just said. But you being black doesn't qualify you or disqualify you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
that I am going to get to know you like I'm going to get to know everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I have been mistreated, disappointed by as many black people as I have by anybody else of any other race.
Mm-hmm.
Lying, deception, trickery, foolery. Nobody has the monopoly on that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, that to be totally transparent, I do want my race to do well.
Mm-hmm.
I want that.
Yes.
I want that with all of my heart. I cheer for that.
Mm-hmm.
But simply because you black doesn't mean that I'm going to patronize you. I still want the product. I still want, you're not going to put a roof on my house if you don't know what you're doing because you're black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll look at you. I'll talk to people about you. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the best way I could say it doesn't qualify you or disqualify you.
Now, Leonard, was when it was at its height, was It Takes a Village, was it a positive thing? Was it more positive for our community, or did it lend to be a little more difficult for us to live and to stay at that standard?
Well, it always was positive. Your people just no longer wanted to live up to those values and standards.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't fault people for that. They're just no longer in the village.
Mm.
Now when this concept gets blown out of proportion if you look at it from the wrong perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Africa right now, everybody ain't sitting around together.
Yeah.
You got this tribe here, this tribe over here. These people do things a different way. You got all types of people.
Mm-hmm.
And to insist that someone has to be in your village is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. To insist that someone has to believe the way you believe and things like that is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So one, you find those people that you can connect with and build something positive from that. It's not like it's going away. It's just that you're choosing not to live that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there's too many standards, and it's more easy to live less than.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So one, And plus, you have to also factor in there are some people that enjoy certain things that just may not be acceptable to other people.
Mm-hmm.
But we can still coexist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Frank, let's talk for a second, and it's come up a few times already in the conversation. Let's talk about those standards. What are some of those standards that it's going to take to get back to it takes a village?
Well, I mean, respecting yourself is to me that is on the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect yourself. There's so many ways of showing that. If you're in a community, take care of your property.
Mm-hmm.
You know, manage your children. Don't let them be buck wild. Be respectful. Respect yourself. You know, respect your neighbor. Don't be the person that is throwing parties every night. You know your neighbor's got to go to work. You know, respect yourself. And I was thinking about that when you was talking about community before and the village. The one thing that we do a lot now is we do a lot of talking. Back when people were helping out, it was a thing that nobody talked about.
Mm-hmm.
When I grew up, it wasn't somebody my parents set me down and told me, "Hey, if the neighbor down the street tell you this, you need to listen to him."
Mm-hmm.
It was just it was a given.
Yeah.
If an adult, told you, "Hey, y'all get off that lady's grass," you got off their grass.
Mm-hmm.
If a adult told me, "Hey, you're a little too loud, y'all might need to, tone that down," you quiet it down.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't cuss that person out.
Exactly.
So there's responsibility
Mm-hmm.
on everybody's part, because see, the parents have to govern their kids
Mm-hmm.
and make them respect older people. But then there's a responsibility that these people that are speaking to your children are in their right mind. We have a young man on our block who's artistic, and for whatever reason, his parents, he's been doing this for years. They didn't let him walk the neighborhood. He just walks constantly. And I don't know if that's just to get him out of their hair or if that's something that calms him or whatever. But I walked out of my house and I was walking down my driveway, and I saw these two guys trying to get him to get in the car.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I said, hey, man, what are you doing? And he said, Mr. Logan, hey, good morning, Mr. Logan. I said, man, get away from that car. And then the car sped off.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the it takes a village mentality.
Yeah.
You could have easily said, oh, well, they should be watching it. That's evil.
Mm-hmm.
You watch somebody pull off with this boy.
And ain't no telling what their intentions are.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went down and I talked to his parents. I told them what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, y'all might want to, keep a little close eye on my man. They was trying to lure him in this car, and I told him what the car looked like. And then I went on about my business.
Mm-hmm.
But it's we give a lot of lip service, man, but it's complicated because of who we're dealing with now. You're not dealing with mature, rational people. People would tell you to stay out of their business.
Mm-hmm.
If you see their child doing something crazy.
Wow. Good deal. Christy, good morning, young lady. Or is it Shira? Is it Shira Strong? Shira Strong. That's what it is. Good morning, young lady. There you go. Hey, what we're talking about this morning, we're talking about the village, and it takes a village. Have we lost that whole concept? Do we still grasp it? Is it still even a part of our psyche or a part of our heritage anymore? What do you say to that? It takes a village. What does that really mean?
It does take a village to raise a child, and I grew up, like I say, the town or the place that I live is so small where everybody knows everybody. Like everybody knows my mom, my dad, my great-great-great-grandmother, they know everything. So when I was growing up, that raising a village meant something different than it does today. Like if I was doing something wrong, I didn't only have to look out for my mom, but everybody in the community. I could get like 5 or 6 whoopings from 5 or 6 different people. If I was acting up, at a friend's house, their mama could pop me on my butt and call my mama, tell me what happened, and then I'm gonna get a whooping there. And it was more of the community wanting to educate and teach us as we were children, and that's why a lot of children that's my age are so successful. We have doctors, a ER doctor, we have a physician, we have lawyers, we have different people that grew up in my era that are very successful. And because they made sure they would keep us in pageants and different things, because there wasn't much to do in a small town. So they would keep us busy and doing things and raise us. It wasn't just my mom. My mom was a single mom, but it didn't feel like it because the men of the church or the men of the community took a hold of us to make sure we knew what was right for us with being a woman, carrying ourselves in front of a man, just different things. I can remember a lady would say, Christy, you don't sit in no man's lap and you don't hug no man because you're too short. That's things that were taught, and people will get offended if you tell their kids that now. Today, I feel like we've lost it. You say something to somebody's child, you're going to have to fight their mama. Or their cousins, or their brothers, or their sisters, So this time, it's really hard to educate the community because the mind frame has changed. Back then, the mind frame was we, us, our. Now it's me and my and nobody else. So that mentality has overtaken us to the point that you can't say nothing to somebody else's child. And you cannot, and I'm a tutorer and I teach sometimes. And I have a difficult time when I tell a parent, hey, your child needs to be doing A, B, and C, and this is not what they're doing, and this is where they are. Get fighting mad with me and, get upset and don't want their child to come back, but they always come back because I'm right. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not that love. I can't tell your child nothing because you're going to go back and tell your child, you don't have to listen to her. She ain't your mama. She can't tell you what to do. She can't tell you what you are and what you're not. That's the mentality we have. And it's so sad because that's why our community is in the way that it is.
Exactly.
That's why we have so many people not voting. We have so many people not educated. That's not involved.
Hold on, preacher. Hold on for a minute, preacher. We got another caller, preacher. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Tina from Atlanta. What's up?
Hey, Tina, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for calling in this morning. Definitely appreciate you. We're asking the question, what does it take a village? What does it really mean? Have we got away from that concept? Was it valuable? Was it of any value while I was here? And what does it really mean to you? It takes a village.
Yeah, it was value when it was here, but yeah, it's definitely gone. Like the lady was just saying that you can't talk to kids anymore. Back in the day, you could, when I was younger, you had people, the whole community would tell you, girl, don't do that. Go in the house. You know what time it is. You have people telling you that's in the neighborhood and you just be like, okay, yes, ma'am. But now I wouldn't tell these kids nothing. You know what I'm saying? If I see them out late at night or whatever, I wouldn't say anything because the parents would come over and say, why are you talking to my son like that? You're being nosy, you in my business. So it's hard now. And then it takes a village. It's a team. It used to be a team of people that would actually watch out for your kids when your parents wasn't around. And that's gone. It's about individuality now. So it's definitely gone.
Wow. And see, that's a sad thing because I think it had a lot of value to it. That it takes a village and we looked out for each other. Now, not so much like y'all say, man. A lot of times, if you go and try to see, if you see somebody's child doing something wrong, and you go not trying to infringe or anything, but you're trying to help. You're trying to help,
right?
And
because that's the era you came up in.
Exactly. And then they go home, mama or daddy, blase said this to me. What? And now here they go knocking on your door. and now they got some evil in their heart. Frank, what
Right.
how do we deal with that, Frank?
You know, I want to agree with everybody who just spoke. I remember I was probably 17 years old, and I was washing my car in the front of my house. And this group of little girls, they were probably 13, 14 years old. They're walking down the street, and they just stopped and started kikiing and ha-ha, and just being little fast girl. And I'm steady washing my car, not really paying them no attention, but see that they're there. This little old lady sitting on her porch stood up, and she said, "Hey, you little fast behind girls, get away from that boy. He's too old for y'all." And they walked away. See, in correction like that, where it may seem harsh, not only did it protect them, but it protected me. You know, and that's like the word of God. If you embrace it, it will protect you. It will keep you out of harm's way. And that's what we lost when we allowed people to see things and have wisdom. People that have been through some stuff. I had taken my boys to the park, and I was backing out of the my space, and these little kids was riding their bikes behind my truck. I got a big truck, and I got out the car, and it was a little boy, little girl. I said, "Hey, how y'all doing?" They said, "We okay." I said, "Can you do me a favor? I'm gonna back up. Can y'all just go over here where I can see you so I don't run into you?" And they said, "Okay." So they pulled over. I went to get back in my truck, and this man came out. "What'd you say to them kids?" And I told him. But see, he wanted to start trouble. He said, "Because I ain't going to have nobody talking to, those are my cousin's kids. Ain't nobody going to be talking." I said, "Sir, I just didn't want to run into him with my truck." And he kept going and he kept going, and he pushed me past the place where I would ignore him. And then he had a problem on his hands. But see, that's the issue. Now, you got somebody telling your kids, right? They shouldn't have been riding their bikes in the parking lot anyway. And you want to come up and act a fool in front of these kids. Now you're teaching them a bad behavior. And then don't nobody want to tell them nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I'm listening, and one of the things we have to realize is it's not just an issue related to moral values. That's just one of those things. That's just one level of it. The way we live has changed. You don't no longer stay in communities your entire life. Where I'm from, for instance, anybody that wanted to be anything or anybody, you had to leave them. You had to go somewhere else to get an education. You went to school. You actually built a life somewhere else. So every village and stuff don't have the same values. And so I'm not very big on, I know I hear people saying a lot about what other adults were allowed to do, but you couldn't put your hands on me. And you couldn't put your hands on me. So it wasn't about, I love when people say, the correction and things of that nature or what have you. But there even has to be an agreement on that. Where the elders make the rules. And everyone knows what they are. It's not a maybe this or maybe that. I'm not going to correct a child that don't understand the rules and norms of my community. See, that's how we have to be. You have to know who I am, and you can't use the color as the code.
Good deal.
See, we must get away from using color as the code, because color is not a good indication of people's moral values.
Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Christy, what's on your heart?
You know, I totally agree.
Hit that mute.
You know, color. Huh?
No, I was telling him to mute his line. Go ahead.
Oh, I totally agree. You know, color is not a definition of morality. But you know, I think it's different from, like, you know, with people in big cities versus, you know, my little bitty place. So you know, I really believe that it just takes more than one to input everything into a child that's needed for them to be successful. Even a wayward teen still need the community to come together and actually, you know, teach him or her the right path. You know, I have a firm belief that a promiscuous woman or a promiscuous child is that way because of something that happened to them at an early age. So until we get to the root of the situation, and they may not feel comfortable talking to mommy or daddy or auntie or grandmama. So you have to have pillars. And that's that word, pillars in the community. And so many times those pillars are the ones that are molesting and raping. Those pillars are the ones who want to have sex with. Those pillars are the ones who are deceptive. Those pillars are the ones who are the ones that you can't trust anymore. So now when you can't trust the pillars of your community, then where do you go? You know, if you can't trust those that, like your pastors or your people that are meant to pray with you, and you go trying to pray and they trying to sleep with you, or other things. You know, you have ministers that try to take other men's wives. So I feel like we have a huge problem, and the reason why a village can't raise a child anymore is because we have a problem, because the morality got messed up somewhere down the line. It got towed up. And so now the village is completely ruined, and it doesn't have a pillar or no one to look up to say, hey, this is the standard. This is what, you know, what our elders that were holding the community and made those rules, they're gone. Some of them are gone now. And there wasn't anyone there to take their place or to hold those same values or to have that same care. You know, so it's really a problem with where are the pillars.
Good deal. Good deal. We got a couple of callers on the line. I'm going to go right now to Rodney. Are you there?
Oh, yes, I am.
Tell everybody who you are and where you're calling from, sir.
Hey, it's Rodney Allen Rippey, and man, just happy to be on, giving you a call from Riverside, California.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, good to have you, brother. Good to have you. We're asking a question. It takes a village. What happened to that concept? Was it good while it was here? And have we totally lost the whole vision of it all? And how we used to embrace it? Have we lost that, Rodney? What happened to it takes a village?
Well, I mean, growing up, I grew up in Long Beach, California, and you know, no matter what, you know, it was just the community looked out for the kids, you know, and nowadays it seems that, you know, society has went astray because people have this mindset that, well, I don't want to get involved, or it's not my child, and things like that. But I remember when, you know, growing up, it was just, people watched other people's kids, and if they caught you cutting up or doing something that wasn't right at, you know, at a child's age or whatever, they'd roll by your house, knock on the door and say, hey, I seen your kids doing such and such. I seen them, you know, busting pop bottles in the street or whatever, you know, and that type of stuff. And really at that point, you know, back in the day, you know, you could almost head off a child from going down the wrong direction because, you know, the parental control. But sadly, it is so hard for, you know, families nowadays because of financial reasons. Both mother and father are out of the house working, and a lot of times the kids, you know, the parents are exhausted. They come home and they just don't have the energy, and things are happening. But, you know, I do believe that, you know, we are in a huge shift, and I think people are now going to start to see and really value what matters most, which is family, and raising children, because now, I mean, it's a very serious time. You have to think ethically. You have to think about your safety. I mean, people are so mean nowadays. And so you really have to take it all very, very seriously. And I think that, you know, it's an opportunity for the world to kind of, you know, as we hit the reset button, this is something that has been bestowed upon all of us, you know, rich, poor, white, black, whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. Everybody's in the same boat. And this whole COVID-19 has really reset and reshaped how the world is going to function. But those who love Christ, the Lord will continue to take care of us. The Lord will continue to take care of families. And we have to put our faith and trust in him.
Yes.
And you know, and not lean on our own understanding, but, you know, just really dig into the word and say, okay, Lord, what are you trying to say to us? What do you want? What do you want me to do? And I think that if we all start looking up, matter of fact, I was talking to some friends. I said, yeah, there's a lot of protesting, a lot of marching, a lot of people are really upset, you know, not long ago. But the issue is, could you imagine if everybody would have just fell down on their knees and worshiped the Lord?
Yes.
I mean, the sky would have cracked open.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how you really shake things to the core. That's where the power comes through. And so, but I know that there were many people out there marching and praying, and there were people who maybe even not left their house. They were praying that things calm down and things don't get worse than it, you know, than it did. But, you know, I think that, you know, God bless you, brother, for all that you're doing with your radio show and bringing up these questions. And yeah, you know, things have shifted. And, but I think that, you know, through prayer and through people working at it and really putting their best foot forward, that yes, you know, the youth are very, very important. And one thing and one last thing I will say, people need to, I remember being a kid that we had things to do. And I don't, and, you know, and I'm not a prude by no stretch of it. I mean, I know that technology is a great thing, but now kids are left to their own devices, and there's so much content, both good and a whole lot of bad. There's more bad stuff on the internet than there is good stuff.
Yeah.
Sadly. And when you don't watch and police your child and filter that content that they have access to right there in their phone, I mean, it takes them down a road that they shouldn't even be on. And I mean, and now you talk to young people and they think that they know it all because they feel like they have the power of knowledge in their hand. But the problem is it's experience. And I think that, you know, people need to start understanding that how damaging not spending time with your kid and talking to your children. It's just like, you know, people are sitting around the house and they're not talking, they're texting.
Exactly.
You know, we need to keep our communication flowing. So God bless you all for what you're doing and you know, brother, and keep up the great work.
Brother, and I appreciate that. I thank you, man. To God be the glory, man. But it's 4:00, man. What you doing up so early, brother? It's 4:00 in the morning over there.
But I'm actually working on something right now, and I was just getting ready to crash out. But I said, I appreciate your text and the invite, man. So God bless you.
Hey, praise God. Everybody, y'all know who Rodney is? Rodney, you want to tell them a little brief history?
Oh, well, you know, Brother Raheem, well, it actually, some may remember the name. It's Rodney Allen Rippey. And I started out as a child actor, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do some of the little reports and send in some interviews and things like that from some of the cool people that I come across. And I just, you know, been involved in the entertainment industry ever since I was a young child. And now I'm working on opportunities to start directing some projects and you know, just still at it, man. Still involved in the entertainment industry and still blessed, man. Having a good time.
Praise God. Frank, you remember Rodney?
I'm sorry?
You remember Rodney?
I do.
Good deal.
I do.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing to hear his voice again.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Appreciate that, brother.
Glory to God.
Leonard. Oh, hold on. We got another caller. Rico, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hey, Rico, it takes a village, man. Have we lost that concept? What does that really mean?
Oh, most definitely we lost the concept. First, let me say, man, that was awesome for him to even call in at 4 o'clock in the morning. I knew his name sounded familiar, but I was more ecstatic about just the fact that he called at this time of the morning in California.
Sir.
That was real cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's in a major decline. I mean, like over my last few decades of living, I've seen a steady decline in quality people across the board. I look at men have less of a choice of quality women to choose from. Then women have less quality men, and children have less quality men and women to choose from parents. I mean, so now it's like I think I said once before. I've seen the grandparents teaching the grandchildren how to twerk now. We're in bad shape. So that was that's what I'm seeing the majority of. We have a decline in quality people in our community, not only in our community, but in the world. You know, you could just look at how things are going with COVID, fake news, misinformation, just, you know, how many people have a platform to just say what they want to say and not have any responsibility for it being correct. And the people that listen to them. So, you know, I actually saw that come full circle a couple of days ago, a long time ago. It was a little boy that was in school with my son. They lived around the corner from me. And it was him and his 3 brothers. They came around the corner and they wanted to mess with the dog in my backyard. I had a dog in the backyard and they were just back there throwing rocks at him. So I heard the dog acting a fool and I went out there and I said something to him because the dog would get loose and chase him. So that day they were antagonizing. I said something to him. I said, man, y'all stop that because he'll get mad and he'll bite y'all. Next thing I know, their daddy come back around the corner looking like he wanted something. So he asked me, like, you said something to my son? I said, yeah, man. I said, they was in the backyard standing outside the fence throwing rocks at the dog, man. I said, and that dog, like, you know what I'm saying, they get off the chain, they'll come at him. You know, and I just kept noticing the look on his face. He was coming over there to get ready to store something up.
Yeah.
And so I never forgot that. I said, man, these little boys here, man, I already see what's going to happen with them. And so over time, I saw the oldest son and the youngest son, the ones that I knew would have a problem, still never get corrected. They were good in football, couldn't stay in school, stayed in trouble. I mean, had all the potential in the world, but just didn't never have any discipline. So finally, the oldest son, he's in prison now, living his best life, doing a strong arm robbery with cohorts. I mean, people that happen to want to do it with him. And he sexually assaulted a man with a gun. I mean, that lets you know how bad his mind was, and it took a length of time for that to happen. And so the youngest son, same thing. I ain't gonna say finally, he just got killed Saturday night.
Wow.
And it's sad because I saw this future for them boys. I saw this future. Now, the middle son, the one that I knew that would listen and seem like he just had a different mindset, he's awesome. Awesome. But those 2 boys, the ones that, you know, had the free will to do what they wanted to do because their dad was going to make sure didn't nobody tell them what to do, now he got to suffer the consequences. So I see a lot of that, you know, but at the same time, I wouldn't trust a lot of these neighbors to correct my children because I see how dysfunctional they are. So it's like we're in between a rock and a hard place, you know, especially the children. The children are looking for a village. But I mean, the pickings are few and far between. A woman or a young man looking for an example, it probably used to be an opportunity for at least 2 young men to have one positive male role model in his life. I'm gonna say 40 or 50 years ago. But now when you separate them from what I was about to put it to you this way, count the number of men in prison, and there's a lot more young men and women out here on the street that ain't gonna have nobody that they can talk to. Then you talk about the ones that's dead. And then the ones that, you know, that's still living, they spread thin amongst everybody else out here that needs to, you know, sort of inform or lead by example of people that care, activists like me. And I see it all day long. There's not too many people out here like me. That's why I talk to y'all more than anybody else. So the pickings are slim and the village is thinning out.
Wow. That's a real hard reality right there. That's a real hard reality. Christy, what's on your heart? And we got another caller. We're gonna go to the call in just 1 second. Christy, what's on your heart?
you know, Rico said some of the things that I said. You know, those pillars are not there anymore, and it's so hard to find those pillars. And until we, you know, the generations that's coming up decide to do what's right and be those pillars and lead by example, you know, the village is still going to be broken. So, you know, you know, the village is not there. And there isn't a village that's going to raise your child. And that's sad because it put on a lot more responsibility to those single moms, those single dads, and even the two-parent homes. Because even in two-parent homes, there are still struggles of things that you won't be able to show or teach your child because they're being peer pressured. That, you know, it's things that as a mom you may not see because your child don't bring you everything. I think that's why suicide amongst children are high now because of the cyberbullying, also because of just the bullying period. And they're embarrassed to come home and tell mom and dad. But if there was a pillar in the community who already knew about it, can get that child and say, you know what, son, it don't matter. You're beautiful. You're wonderfully made. But we don't have that now. So that's why things are the way it is. That's why drugs is on the rampage. That's why you see children now on Facebook rapping and cussing and, you know, because they want to be a rap star or they want to be a football player or they want to be females want to be dancers or models or, you know, because the entertainment business is now becoming a village. And since the entertainment business is becoming a village, now you have people imitating those lives, those movies, those lives. You know, I want to be like this, I want to be like that. So that's what they're aspiring to be. The aspiration is not, oh, I want to be president, or I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a mom, or I want to be a homemaker. All those things are going out the window now because now we got to shake our booty and, you know, twerk or dance or, you know, do different things. So the entertainment business is the village now, and that village is me and mine.
She, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, good morning. What up, though? How you doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. We're talking about it takes a village. It takes a village. Have we lost that concept? Have it just gone to the wayside? But let me ask you a little different question. While people are in school, while kids are in school, and they look at everybody and they look at what they want to be, and like Chris just said, they may want to be a singer or a rapper, entertainer, actor, or something like that. Do you think, and this may be a little weird question, do you think they will look at the janitor that's working in the school building, the one that's been there for 20 years, man, is taking care of the family and send his kids through college and stuff like that because of the fact that he have a steady job? Would they look at somebody like that as something that they want to be?
Well, it's not the shiny thing.
Yeah.
So it's unlikely. However, if that janitor reached out, if that janitor had opportunity to make an impact and interact and win those kids with his personality, and you know, kids can they're gonna emulate, and kids are easily influenced. They're sponges.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, man, throughout my life, I have influenced a whole lot of people, and please don't hear me bragging. I really want to encourage this morning because I hear the sentiment on the panel. I just got on. I heard Rico and I heard Christy, and they're speaking of a situation that we're facing right now that appears bleak. But I want to encourage the people of God because it's always been the mind of God that we influence, that we spread this gospel. You know, the situation that Rico brought up, wouldn't it be great if Rico was in a position to influence that father? Maybe not the son, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to replicate myself. The Bible says, be fruitful and multiply, right? So what I want to do is be fruitful. If I'm a fruitful individual, if I'm someone who's bearing fruit, if I have good godly character, then God's expectation of me is to multiply. And so I need to be reaching out to influence fathers to be better fathers. I want to reach out and influence Christians to be better Christians. And you know what that's going to do? Is going to impact their family. And I can do it indirectly as I impact the person who's leading that family. And I've been impacted myself. So I know this thing works, but it works from one person. It works one person at a time. You know, if we can dedicate ourselves to, first off, being the representative of Christ that we were called to be, and then secondly, spread that to the next person and the next person and the next, and everybody that we encounter. If we are infectious like that, then we can spread that thing where it won't look bleak anymore. I mean, we can change the paradigm, we can shift the trend. But it's up to us. It's a decision that we have to make as the people of God. You know, if we are strong, then let us influence others to be strong as well, so that they can impact their communities, and then we can grow from there.
That's good. That's good. Frank, what's on your heart, brother?
First and foremost, I want to say, man, amen to everything Rashid just said. Because that is, you will be shocked at how people arrive before you. But you really need to discern why they're there. And, you know, when they initially get there, you may feel a certain way, but God brought them there. He brought them there broken. And he said, okay, now I need you to rub up against them. I know that they're abrasive right now. And you really need to hear from God concerning these people, because it's not going to be anything that you know. It's not going to be just the thing that you use with the last person that you walk with or mentor. It's going to be what it is that God has for you and that person. So I just want to, you know, say, you know, Rashid right on point with that. And it is challenging now. It's very challenging now, but it's not impossible.
Frank, let me ask you what, and I know what we said about earlier about the parents and how they take the different stance that they used to did not take. But why is it so much more difficult now than it used to be if we want the same results?
Well, you answered your question with your question. I mean, do we really want the same result? You know, there was a time that the family was the focus. And now we're so focused, so many of us are so focused on so many other things that our family is truly an interruption. That's why video games are so popular, because you can put your kids in front of an Xbox and they'll leave you alone all day. But you just don't know that Xbox is hooked up to the internet, and so you got somebody in his ear that's saying all kind of crazy things. You know, so if you're asking, do we want the same things? That's a great question. Do we really want the same thing? And you know, a lot of times people, you know, they clown me. They say, dude, you always with my family, with your family. And I love my family, man. I enjoy my wife and my kids. You know why? Because my dad enjoyed us. This was a taught behavior. You know, he spent time with me. So now I'm giving back. There's something in me that I can, you know, pull from and give back to him. And I'm not saying that you have to have that type of relationship with your father to be able to do that, but it helps. It absolutely helps that if it's already there, that, you know, you don't have to try to figure it out. I mean, one of the most powerful statements that I ever heard came from Kenny the Jet Smith. He said, man, we have to stop. We got to get our kids out of survival mode and get them in stride mode. They're constantly trying to succeed in spite of what we've done for them. We got them operating from behind. So great question.
Good deal. Donald Toussaint, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, we're asking the question, man. What does it takes a village? What does it really mean, man? Have we got away from that whole concept? Is it even important in this day and time? What do you say to that?
We better. I think it's just been said. We've been trying to survive. Why are we still trying to survive rather than function? You know, when we figured out the light should have went off years ago when they betrayed on the 40 acres and the mule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want 40 acres, and I don't want to walk behind the mule because you got to smell it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a lie. But they overcame that and start succeeding on their own and start raising our children in the village. Remember how I didn't even know. You tell me, maybe somebody can tell me how. I remember when you did something across town, and by the time you got home, everybody knew.
Yeah.
Mama knew. Matter of fact, you would get yours before you got to the house because the Kool-Aid lady or the frozen cup lady down the street would straighten you out there where you would get the little candy. And if you came into her house unruly, she said, "Don't you come in here like that."
Yeah, exactly.
Pull your pants up and tuck in your shirt. Remember that?
Absolutely.
When we couldn't even come in somebody's house with our shirt out of our pants. We had to tuck in your shirt, little boy. I'm gonna tell you, Mom. Ain't you a little too fast? You're too. You always mispronounce your name. Come here, boy. Ain't you little Maim? Come here and they pull you by your ear. That wasn't even your parent.
Yeah. And look at and meant
that word.
Exactly. And now they now they wore their pants around the ankles. Now they wore their pants around the ankles. Look at the change in the time, brother. Now they wore their pants around the ankles.
When you would have your music, even as teenagers, driving your little car. I had my little car when I was a teenager, and I have my music blasted. But when I get around certain houses or around the church, I turn that music down.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Without a doubt.
Because I didn't want the word to get back to the house. But we don't you tell my child nothing, and then we want to go to the school and fight. How crazy is that?
Hey, that's where we at, brother. That's where we at. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Shalom, Father.
Hey. Good morning to you.
Hello.
How you doing?
Top of the morning to you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. It just in case some of y'all don't know, that's my baby girl. She's calling from California. She's calling from California as well. She don't like me to tell y'all what she do, but some of y'all already know. But I'm gonna ask you the question, Mary. What does it mean? It takes a village to raise a child. What does it mean? It takes a village. Have we gotten away from that concept? Was it good when it was in place?
And I feel like I'm not a good person to speak on that because I don't have any children. I can't tell you what's been better or what's not. I mean, if anybody needs my help with their kids, I try to be there, but I could not tell you.
Got you.
I wasn't around long enough to know the old Erase Village, and I don't have a kid to know the new Erase Village. So I don't. I mean, it takes a village. So I'm not sure.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, hold on for 1 second. We're going to go to, hey, Rodney, what's on your heart, brother? And let me see. Leonard, coming to you next.
Well, it's just, I mean, listening to what everybody's saying, and it's very true, it's never over. And I just think that, as we go through these new changes, we have a new time coming. We have a big election coming up, and it's time for everybody to get real serious and get out there and vote. Pray, study before you go and cast those ballots, and also make sure that you are doing everything that you can to make sure that your vote is counted. And but again, the children are our future, and I think that through prayer and through people making sure that their children have what they need. I mean, because right now, it's sad. I mean, because look at how many kids were disrupted. I was working for, I was a business development manager, and I was over 5 campuses here in Southern California. And when COVID hit, it shut the school down. And there were so many kids, and young people that I had enrolled, and I was involved with their academic career. And to see them be so happy to go to college, some of them, their parents, they never thought that they would go to college. And here they were in there. And then when COVID hit and it shut the school down, I mean, they were midstream. I mean, that took a lot of wind out of people. And I think that there are a lot of people who felt very depressed. They were very lost. And I just think that a lot of prayers needed, and people really need to understand there's a lot of people hurting, people not only, there's a lot of people who are not happy with their income. They're not happy. They'd rather get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
But, when you get into this system, it's not a good place to be, because people want to work. They don't want their income capped. People want to go to work, and, but it's a very dicey time now. So, but I think that there's a great learning curve, and there's a lot of the young people, because, this generation has never experienced anything like this. You talk about the older people who were during the Depression and things like that. This is the 2020 version of it. And so it's just like it's mind blowing, but thank God we're going to get through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Also when we talk about the village, one of the things that is missed is you cannot talk about a village if you do not talk about marriage. The reason why I had the village that I came from is because a network system of family that believed in marriage. And they believe that like you said, we need a village. Well, a lot of people go into this mentality. Here you is, don't have babies by everybody, and now you won't talk about a village. We don't want you in our village. Because one of the things you need to understand is that children need loving parents. That's what they need. And my loving parent had me and then brought me to the village.
That's good. That's good.
See, this is the way that works. It comes from a system and a group of people who believe in the same thing. They have the same concepts. Wrong is wrong. As wrong as can be. Everybody respected certain things. Mine was around not just Christianity, but a even stronger network of the Brotherhood of Masonry. So there were people that you knew that you could go to if you needed things or you needed help. You knew who was your friend and who wasn't your friend. Your parents told you, okay, now that's Andy, now that's him, these are my brothers. Well, Mama, my big mama didn't have them, but these are my brothers. See, they had that set up when I came here. You understand? They had already had that set up when I was born. That's how that was going when I was born. So you can't just create this thing out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to set the stage for it.
Absolutely.
You can't go and do what you want to do and be irresponsible and then get talking about a village.
Mm-hmm.
It don't work like that.
Mm-hmm. You're right. It don't work like that. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Morning, family. Toya with the T on the line. Hello.
Toya with the T. Good morning to you. We're asking, it takes a village. Have we lost that concept? How important was it? Was it important then, or does it mean more or less now than it did back then? What do you say to that?
It means everything. You know, it's this phase that I've been watching lately with these rappers. Oh, I'm not a role model. You know, that thing right there. We are role models because somebody's always watching you. And when I say you, me, you, everybody, somebody always watching. So when it comes to a village, I can't be a woman and you always coming to do something wrong as the man, want to come impregnate me and do all these other things that you know is not the right thing to do without marrying me. And then we have kids, and then here you've done that, and then now you want to have 7, 8 wives talking about because the Bible says so. Boy, you don't get out of here with that. You want to have 17, 28, 35 chilling all over the world, which you can't possibly raise productively, but then want to talk about a village. No, we all matter to the village. No matter what age you are, adults, kids, teenagers that's just finding their way, we all matter to the village. We're always watching you. And for anyone who does not understand that little boys are watching you if you're beating someone, if your little boys are watching you and how you deal with your mom, and if you talk to her with a high pitched voice, and when that little boy or little girl go out to the stove and you got 17-year-old knuckleheads outside who they parents ain't taught to do nothing, talk about, go ahead, just sell the dope or whatever. That's all of us. Ain't no one particular type of group of people. Once we start getting of age, we know better. It's on and popping. And as adults, we can say what we want to say. We can do what we want to do. But we are all watching you. And yes, we're all role models. Your niece, your nephew, the neighbor's kid. So no, you can't do what you want to do, act how you want to act, or even, let's go back in the day, set up all these different religions that do not acquire or have integrity and faithfulness as an ingredient, and wonder why we are where we are. We all are part of this village, and we all need to tighten up.
Exactly. There's so much out there right now, man. There's so much out there. I think we just had another caller too. Do we have another caller? I think that caller want to be silent. But anyway, let's go to she. You still there?
No, I'm a little busy right now. Go ahead to somebody else. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. You good. Let's go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart?
Oh man, there's been some good comments, man. But you know, I try to look at things from a perspective of numerous arenas, or I'm gonna say angles that you could come from. But this question, I noticed this decline in the village a long time ago. I mean, some people might not have paid attention to it, but I believe me being a 70s baby, I caught the butt end of the village.
Rico, let me ask you this. Let me step in with just 1 second, brother, if you don't mind. Let me ask you this. Why was the village so important?
It was important for survival. Because we were people that were being oppressed and terrorized. We didn't have the same justice. You had laws that were being made against you to keep you from having rights. I mean, it was just, the system was built against you, so you needed protection. You had people committing violence against you. But I used to always ask the question, what's going on? Why is it changing? And so I looked, I thought about what I've seen, what children in these days are seeing, and I thought about what I saw when I was young. When I was young, not only were my grandparents in the same household together, but they had neighbors that were older than them that were in the household together, all up and down the street. So then I wondered, I was like, well, dang, I said, seems like everybody want to get divorced now, and I'm seeing this fracture coming between families, you know. So I started thinking about how we are starting to become inconsistent and following trends. So the inconsistency comes with home ownership. You can't trust the person next to you when you got a new neighbor every year. So now our trend has come from being homeowners to renters. Not all of us, but most of us. In our community, there's a lot of renting going on instead of homeowners. So you can't get comfortable and really learn your neighbors and build a relationship or bond because they're swapping out. Then on top of it, I think about my grandparents and their neighbors that were older than them that I grew up around and saw. The last examples of having that many people in the same household and having the morals and ethics that we needed, they witnessed a totally different thing than we witnessed. So they value property. They value staying together. They value family. They wanted a home. That's why owning a home was so important. So as I looked at those homes when I was young, I did realize that all of these old Black people own their homes. Might not have been the best ones, the ones like on the other side of town across the tracks, but they owned them. So that was a sense of success. That was a goal to achieve some of the things that you didn't have the right to achieve, and they tried to keep you from achieving. I mean, you come from a people that were told that they couldn't even grow their own food or congregate. So now these people in the past, they had a different focus. Now your daughter said she really didn't feel like she had room to speak on it. And that I like what she said, because when you think about it, how can the younger generation speak on a village when they don't have as many examples of that village like I had? They didn't get to experience these older people saying, my daddy was a slave. My mama was a slave. They came in the house, beat me up and raped me, and didn't nobody do nothing about it. They didn't get a chance to hear those horror stories and understand why those people valued the things they did. They had to hear the story. Now, don't get me wrong. It's our fault for not passing it down. Because if they don't know any better, they can't do any better. So, I mean, like I said, when you think about the inconsistency in our living arrangements, and then why don't we own homes? Why isn't that an interest? Why isn't that like a goal for most people? Because they don't understand the values of our ancestors and our elders that came before them. And like Rashid said earlier, flashy things, that distraction, along with the fact that what you don't know, what you know, of what you should be striving for, that would destroy a village. So you take that; those are just a couple of factors. We're not going to even mention drugs and more laws. We ain't going to talk about crack laws taking people off the street, so your son won't have his dad or your daughter won't have his dad in his life. We ain't going to talk about wrongful incarcerations. I mean, there's just so many different things that we don't understand is going on behind the scenes in society, and we still don't. I mean, like I said, the younger generation they think until they say, "Village, what they talking about?" We speaking on stuff that we saw and expecting them to know it just because we talk about it instead of showing it.
Exactly. And you kind of catapulted right into when I was going to go to Frank. With Frank, you there?
Yeah, bro.
What destructive mechanism did drugs have on the community, on the village, if you will?
You mean continues to have?
Yeah.
I mean, it destroyed the foundation. I mean, it literally, you talk about something that disrupted community. How can you have a community when you have chaos? You know, the one thing that, you know, I wrote some things down while people were talking. The one thing is that we need to be careful who we're listening to. You know, and through my life, the one thing I learned to do is that if I'm trying to be successful in business, I look at someone who's successful in business, and then I talk to them about business. Now that person might not be a real good father, and you know, I'm not trying to knock him or anything like that, but he's not the person that I want to go to talk about, you know, being a dad. You know, so we really need to look at the people that we're looking at for personal growth in ourselves. You just because a person is available, that doesn't mean that they are the person that you want to talk to about, you know, your intimate things. You know, there's some things that we need to agree on. You were talking about drugs in the community. Each and every last one of us here, you know, we're We're here all over the world. We have people here from California, people here that were born in Brooklyn. I'm from Detroit. Leonard is in Atlanta with you now, but he's from Saginaw. You know, all of us will agree as a people. Yesterday, we have to stop killing each other. We have to. There's nothing killing us more than us killing us in our own neighborhood. Here in Detroit last week, a guy walked up to an 8-year-old kid and shot him in the head. A grown man. And that's every weekend on the east side of Detroit. Every weekend. We have 10 or 15 killings, multiple shootings. How can you have a community with that type of chaos? You know, we got to learn to listen, man, and to listen. Sometimes we need to listen and walk away and think about what we heard. You know, we listen to respond, not to understand. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be quiet. And I'm going to put a lot of onus on us, and this offends men. But I'm going to tell you, man, it breaks my heart every time I see an athlete walk up to the podium with just his mom and say, I never knew my father. Dude, that almost brings me to tears. Not that his father missed out on the opportunity, you know, for this game that this kid is about to have. But another young black man had to figure it out up to that point without a father. And then he's going to have to figure out, you got all of these sharks out here waiting for him to make millions of dollars so they can take advantage of him. And he doesn't have that other voice in his life. So in spite of, you know, as men, man, we have to make some decisions and stay in these homes and raise families.
Exactly. Rodney, what's on your heart, brother? We putting a lot out there right now.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I just remember, you know, growing up, and thank God I was fortunate to have both a mother and a father in my home. But the thing about it is, you know, my mother, she was the type of woman who the home was her castle. And I remember how she had, I mean, her job was the house. Daddy, he went out, he worked. And I've seen some of the most incredible things. I know people are going to really bug out when I say this, and I know it's hard. I mean, it's, you know, because of the financial of where we are at this time. I mean, it's not so prevalent that you see it, but my father worked, and I remember being a little boy one Friday and seeing him come in, and he walked in and he took his whole entire paycheck out of his top pocket and he flipped it on the kitchen table, and my mother picked up his whole check. And there was a system, you know, Daddy worked and Mama handled everything. You know, there was never the lights. Our phone stayed on for 15 years. Our phone never changed. Our lights never blinked. There was nothing that my dad had to worry about, because he made the money and he brought it home, and Mama handled everything. And you know, a lot of people think like, well, I sure would like to have that situation. But my mother was the type of virtuous woman who, she didn't take advantage of that. And it was like, I remember one birthday, and my dad asked my mom, well, what do you want for your birthday? And my mom said, oh, Fred, it's okay. You don't have to do anything. And my dad said, no, tell me, what do you want? And she said, I'd really like to have a new sewing machine. And my dad said, oh, come on, you don't want no sewing machine for your birthday. Come on, let me get you something else. No, that's what I want. So my dad was like, well, how much is it? I remember my mom said, well, it's about $250. $250, man. Why can't you pick something a little cheaper than that for your birthday? And so next thing you know, my dad, he said, hey, I know you go to the fabric store with your mother. He goes, do you ever remember the one that she's always looking at? I go, yeah, I know the exact sewing machine that she's always looking at. So my dad, me and him slipped off one day. We jumped in the car and we went to the fabric store. I said, Daddy, there it is. That's the one. That's the one that Mama's always touching. That's it. And my dad bought it. And he said, now don't tell your mother. And he put it in the trunk of the car. And he waited a couple of days. And then he played it off. He walked around on her birthday and he just kept saying how he didn't get her anything. And before you know it, he goes out and it was already wrapped up. He had wrapped it somewhere. And he brings this big old box in and sits it on the kitchen table. He goes, well, I know you didn't think you probably thought I forgot about you. So my mom, what is this big old box? And she never imagined that he went and bought that expensive sewing machine. And let me tell you, when she opened that thing up, she was so happy. The very next day, here me and her go to the fabric store. My mom made curtains for every window. She made us pajamas. And you know, I saw that. You know, I saw that with my own eyes. And I said, wow, you know, but, you know, you just don't get that type of, that type of experience nowadays. And I'm just, man, I just feel blessed that I had that opportunity to see that, to be there and just to be a part of it.
And that's something, brother, that will stick with you for the rest of your life. Right there will stick with you. Yeah. It'll never go away. It'll never go away. Toya, what's on your heart?
Nope.
Toya, you crying over there? Toya, wake up and go to sleep.
I'm here.
Okay. Thought you was over there crying, sis. Thought you was over there crying. Thought he had pulled some of those strings in your heart. You know, your eyes get to sweating every now and then now. Your eyes are sweat on you.
You know, I ain't scared to cry, honey, but no, I'm wrapping up my dogs this morning. But no, I mean, he's right. You know, I think the village, just like everything else, we want to, put everything else on. The village begins in the home.
Yes.
You know, so once we remember the value of each other, and I'm like this, if you got a daughter and you didn't marry her wife, how is she going to understand? You didn't value my mother enough to marry her and stay with me. And we don't realize that we talk a lot as humans. I always say all this, that, and the third. But our actions is what form the minds of our children. So until we understand the value in ourselves, first and foremost, that everything we have in us is precious. And when we lay down with people, there's a spiritual something inside of you that when it connects with the opposite sex, it makes another one. That becomes our one. Until we understand the value of that, a piece of paper can't make no baby. Me laying down in the bed, what you do. A piece of paper can't change generations. Me sticking with you after I made this human being. That is the product of the one that God said He was going to make when you lay with this woman. So until we correct the internal village, that's going to be what gauges our personal village. And when we go out, we're only going to, I guess you can say, bring to the forefront what our perception is, or what we have developed and gathered, how we want to put it out as an individual. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he's absolutely right. His father valued his mother.
Yes.
To a point, not only even you can see it, but I know you can feel the spirit of that within that household.
Exactly.
And that's, you know what I'm saying? And this is what we're missing now. So until we all go back, check ourselves and get our spirits right, get our hearts right, our minds back on that God conscious path with whoever, wherever we at. I think we're going to continue to see the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The results going to continue to be the same thing. Mary, what's on your heart? Anything on your heart right now?
Nothing at the moment.
Nothing at the moment. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna come back to you in a few minutes. All right.
All right.
Donald Toussaint.
Yeah, man.
How much have?
They,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just listening to the comments when I first come back on. Each one of us have, if you're a certain age, you have those amazing stories, those amazing moments that you was observing the relationship with parents. Those little things that seem to be, you knew we was all basically had a struggle, but we would take that, our parents would take out that special moment to do something special. The dad would do something special for the mom in spite of. Because I know I'm the youngest of 12, and I've never seen my mama go to work. Never. Never. And dad was the breadwinner, I guess you say. But I found out that mom ran the house. And she and you had to be there to see that. There was always a certain house that everybody gathered for some kind of reason or another. It was the hangout place.
Yeah.
And there was no foolishness tolerated. They had rules, and they of a single parent home. You really didn't basically know it per se. But being a friend of that person, you knew that they was in a single parent home. But they would flock to that certain house too, because they was building character. They had what did you call that? They the manners, ethics. You know, they was trying to develop a person's. You know what I'm trying to say?
They were built. They were built.
Just can't come out.
They were built on something.
Yeah, character builders.
Yeah, yeah.
You knew they would come there even if their parent didn't have a certain rule. They'd come to the house because they knew how your parents were, and they wouldn't disobey the rules while they was there either. There was this certain Big Mama's house.
Yeah, come on.
Everybody gathered around because she was the one. She was the old lady in the neighborhood. She probably made frozen cups, cold cups. She sold candy. She bubble gum, different things like that. At least we didn't have gangs, but we had groups of certain families that stuck together all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
We played ball together. Sometimes we fought together. But we didn't really get out of hand until somebody pulled out something that would destroy the other person's life.
Wow. Wow. We got a couple other callers that we're going to go to right now. We got our Curtis. Curtis, are you with us?
Yeah, what up? Morning, family. Morning, Globe. Morning, Chrissy. What's going on?
Good morning. Chris, you know, she had to take off and go to work, man. She's gone already, but I want to ask you the question. We're talking about this morning, the village. We're talking about the village. It takes a village. Now, Curtis, that was real big back in the day. What has happened to that? Where is the village now? Or is it even important now in this day and time? It takes a village. What does that mean to you?
Oh, well, they demoralized the village. It's all connected to psychological warfare and warfare itself. They destroyed the village. They destroyed the village when they started removing the men from the village. You know, back in the day when we was growing up, you know, we say it takes a village. Today, I think we need to switch it. I think we need to switch some words since wordplay is major in today's society so that people can understand how important the village is. I think we should switch it to it takes a community. See, back in the day, that's the one thing that we always had. We always had a sense of community, you know. And when you have a sense of community, community is nothing but the reenactment of the village. When you have a sense of community, the people that live in the community, which back in the day, for the most part, was the owners of the land in the community, when you really think about it. But due to redlining and several other issues, to exploit a given people or to exploit a given community, and it don't always have to be black, because I know right now, poor Caucasian American communities, I know poor Caucasian American communities that got exploited as well. That's why they have such high numbers of overdose and fentanyl abuse. But those people don't realize they've been exploited. You see what I'm saying? But all at the same time, you know, when the community idea was around, the village idea was around, everybody felt a sense of belonging.
Okay.
What has happened is there has been a push to destroy folks' sense of belonging. That sense of belonging has, and I'm just going to keep it real, it's just my opinion, but the sense of belonging has prevented a lot of folks from going down the wrong path. It has transitioned folks, it has transitioned a lot of folks from being on the wrong path. And it has also opened the eyes of a lot of folks to what is the right path for which they need to go before they start traveling. But if you remove that, then you can tell those people that exist in the community which path they're supposed to take. You can how would I put this? You can what's the word I'm looking for? You can guide and or alter the direction for which you want those folks to go.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does. It does.
So, you know, but the village and or the community is extremely, extremely, extremely important.
Good deal. Good deal. Cornelius.
Everybody can't beat the dope, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Cornelius, what do you say to that, man? What's on your heart? We're talking about the village.
Good morning, first of all.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Just waking up, man. Getting ready to go back to sleep in a minute if I get ready to work tonight.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I just wanted to just call and chime in. Yeah, that's an interesting topic you're bringing up. And as Curtis was talking, I you know, sometimes when you ask these questions, I get to thinking back over my life and meditating on some things, and then I kind of bring it home in today. And then you remember back in the day, I know they still have it nowadays. You know, talk about babysitters. You remember how folks they babysit your kids and different things like that. And you know, I had a babysitter back in the day when I was coming up and young adult, young child. And I remember something that my babysitter used to teach me when you're talking about raising the village, raising children. You know, about using profanity. And it just brought back, and I kind of laugh about it now because I don't cuss around now that I got saved. But one of the biggest things she used to teach me was dealing with the word ASS. And she said, instead of saying ASS, use apple strawberry soda. And then instead of using SHIT, use Henry Ivory Terry. You know, she said, don't use the words, just use those as in place of the words, so you won't be, you know. And it was teaching me about values of not using profanity, but using things in place of it, you know, to try to teach you proper language with different things, you know what I'm saying? So it won't show no forms of disrespect. So and these are the things that where we should be teaching. When you talk about raising, you gotta. When a village is talking about raising another a person raising another person's child, you throw little nuggets into a child's life to help build their character to some type of degree, because that parent ain't always there to do this, especially wherever they send them out, because society gonna teach them wrong most of the time, because you'll go out to school and you'll hear things from your other peers and they saying stuff and you'll pick it up and you'll bring it home, but and that's so key that whenever you put your child around other adults, you got to make sure that whoever you put them around, make sure they give them forms of wisdom.
Yeah.
Nuggets of wisdom that where they can continue to grow as adults and stuff like that. And that's how the village raised another child. But if you constantly feeding negativity into that child's life, then they're never going to get a chance to grow with the style of wisdom that they need to carry on into life. And that's just, my little take on that, as I was just thinking about some things when you asked that question.
Hey, Cornelius, I'm gonna ask you a question. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? I'm your keeper, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, look here. I have to do something, man, because I can't let you get in trouble, brother. Mary's on the phone. If you don't say hello to her, you're gonna get yourself in trouble, brother.
Mary?
Mary is on the phone right now. Yeah, my daughter.
Hey, how you doing there?
I'm well. How are you?
Good to hear your voice. I didn't know you know.
I know.
I know she was on there this early in the morning.
I know. That's why I say am I my brother's keeper? If I ain't do that, and you'd have went through this whole broadcast and I say hello, you'd have been in trouble, brother. You'd have been in trouble.
I apologize.
Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I was listening to the various, I would say, elements, I believe, that people believe about a village and the network that has to be present. And that you really have to understand where it came from. People no longer have a desire to be a part of the village. So you can't force them into it.
Now let me ask you a question.
You can't look at them.
Let me ask you a question. When you say that, and I understand where you're going when you say that, but how could you be so absolute to say people and speak for everybody when you say they don't have no desire? I'm trying to understand that part.
Because some people do not have a desire to do what it is you want to do.
Okay, I could better receive it. I could better receive that. I could better when you say, because now you said some people, and I could better receive that. But my issue was when you said people, and you were speaking as a whole. But go ahead, brother. You got the floor.
My village wasn't based on being black. My village was based on being family.
Okay.
And you knew who you were and whose you were.
But my thing is, when you say family, that's good because that was your core. But wasn't there different families that came together to help and assist? Isn't that the idea or the concept of a village?
Only if they were welcome.
Okay.
You don't get to just come and sit with us just because.
Got you. Okay.
Because one, we can't have, and this is the part that we, when you always say my brother's keeper or whatever. First of all, who is your brother? So you just can't go get somebody out there just because they got a penis and call it your brother. What makes him your brother? What qualifies him as your brother?
Well, my thing is, and this is just me talking for me. I'm not gonna say anybody is my brother to that level. There's different levels. Some people have brothers that they don't even deal with, they don't like, they don't care nothing about. That's one element. But my thing, if they get to the element of me saying that's my brother, they've been time and battle tested. They've been tested. They proved to me that they have the attributes to be, or for me to even consider them as being my brother. It's been tested. It's been tested.
Right. And that ain't everybody.
No, sir. Not at all. Not at all.
So when people are saying and use the term, am I my brother's keeper?
Mm-hmm.
They need to be taught who their brother is.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
And too many times we just say things and we don't know what they mean. We don't know how to use them properly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to act in some kind of way when people are disagreeing with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say, for instance, we protect our village.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to come and do what you want to do in our village.
And not supposed to. And not supposed to. Hold
right. And so we have to make sure that we are, because one, you may do things differently than I do then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every black man ain't a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Every black man does not believe that you should have some type of responsibility with your ability to reproduce children.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say
all
it like
black
this.
Folks don't care for marriage.
And I'm gonna say it like this. Then we're gonna move on to somebody else. Some of y'all might put raisins in y'all banana pudding, not banana pudding, but potato salad. Some yeah. Some of y'all might put raisins in y'all. You know, I don't want no.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Can I touch that?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When scripture talks about, are you your brother's keeper? And I could be wrong, and anybody can feel free to correct me, and my little feelings won't be hurt. I believe it's challenging us to be responsible, and it's really talking to us about love. And it's showing us not to be so self-centered and only thinking about ourselves, that we're not caring about others. Now, when it talks about, are you my brother's keeper, I think that it's in the same vein of love your neighbor. And where people will think that love your neighbor means geographically the person that's right next to you, which it doesn't. Who is your neighbor? Your neighbor is people far and abroad. It's mass. So that's that same, are you your brother's keeper? That your brother is going to be revealed to you by the Lord. It's not even something that you have control over. There's going to be a need. God is going to put you in position. He's going to equip you. And then in your spirit, even if you don't want to do it, even if you feel like, I've been walking with people, I've been ministering to people, I've been mentoring people, I've done all these things. You hear all those eyes? God can ask the question, are you your brother's keeper? And the response, if you're a follower of Christ, is yes, I am. Lord, because you died for me, I will live for you. And that's part of the I will live for you, is that I will shepherd. I will feed your sheep. Yes, it's bigger than me. I'm not just going to make this about me. There's enough of you that lives inside of me that I can love my family and love the next man, the next man's family. The person at work is your brother. The person in your community, the stranger, that's your brother. And what it is that God has for you, because see, we haven't even defined what it is that you're supposed to do, because it's going to change. The very thing that God is asking of you for this brother may be a kind word, a hug, a morsel of food, your garment. But you have to have that brother's keeper mindset and heart, that I am willing to do what you ask of me. And see, what creeps into us is self-righteousness. I've already done enough. That's not my responsibility. But the question continues to come back. Are you your brother's keeper?
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
No, I think Frank said enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, folks might not want to admit it, and you know, I can see.
Let me change gears with you just for 1 second, because I want to change gears with you just for 1 second. We talked about the village, and it takes a village. How much have greed played a part in destroying the village?
Oh my goodness, bro! Are you kidding me? It's the main tool used to destroy the village.
You greed. Mean within?
Well, say again.
Within? Destroying it from within? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it's the main tool used. When you is Cornelius still on the phone?
Yes.
Cornelius might be able to help me out with this. I wish Bishop was here.
He is. He just came in. He's here. Bishop's here.
There's seven deadly sins, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 7 deadly sins. I can't remember exactly what they are. Do anybody remember what the 7 deadly sins are?
I can look them up right quick.
Please do. Because
greed, lust, envy. Go ahead.
It's greed, lust, envy, sloth.
I
always get stuck after that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the 7 deadly sins, right, and you really break them things down, greed is the forebearer of the other 6. If you look at the 7 deadly sins, right, greed is the forebearer of the other 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because in order to have the other 6, you have to be greedy. Sometimes people think, well, no, I ain't gonna say that, but a lot of times when you think about greed on a smaller scale, the first thing that people think is, oh, this person like to eat a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, you know, we all know that greed is a quest to have what you don't need of anything. Too much of what you don't need of anything. It could be money, it could be sex, it could be food, you know, it could be belonging, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be any number of things to be recognized. So your greed to be recognized will cause you to have jealousy. It will cause you to have envy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It will cause you to have vanity. Vanity is one of them too, Raheem.
Yes.
It will cause you to have all of these things because you constantly have a quest, an over excessive quest. This is just my opinion. Everybody don't agree with me, and I don't expect that. And I'm not always right. You see what I'm saying? When I speak, most times I'm wrong, my doggone self.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But when I look at it and I evaluate it, I keep coming back to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The ideology of greed has destroyed the human race. And I ain't gonna say that I ain't been guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? I've been just as guilty as anybody else. You know what I mean?
I got them right here for you,
Kurt. I now understand.
It's lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride.
Okay. Now think, you got to hit the button, sweetheart. Now think, when you do that, right? When you take all of those and you run them down, each of those states that there's too much of this. Well, ask yourself, why is there too much? This person is not showing these behaviors just because. Thank you so much. Just because. This person is showing these behaviors because they want more of something. And I could be wrong, but that's just my many years of paying attention to human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
All at the same time, I don't believe that God has put man here to be a ruler of the earth to not take care of man.
Good deal. Good deal.
Mean, if God had the same litmus test that man has, I'm gonna keep it real. We all be going to hell in a handbasket with gasoline drawers on.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Bishop, are you with us? Bishop, you with us? Man, we can't hear nothing you saying, brother. We can't hear nothing you saying. Tori, you with the T? Talk to me. What's on your heart?
Oh yeah, great conversation this morning. Well, a couple of things. I heard a statement earlier, kind of raised my ear about, seeing what a level of success looks like and wanting to be like that. And you got to be careful with that, because I remember when I was younger, I didn't want to be a Christian because of that. Oh, look how they do this. I want to do that. Oh, I can't do this. I want to do that. Why would I want to be that? You can't hit nobody back. Oh no, I don't want to be no Christian. Look how that is. You know what I'm saying? We got to be real careful with what level perceives, or how we perceive what a level of success is. And I made a comment the other day. I don't have no kids, so honey, when I tell you I done blew millions of dollars just doing what I want to do, honey, because I ain't got no kids, it's just me. So you probably can't see it from the dollar, but my success lies in the children's lives I touch as a manager, just teaching them life in the game. When they reach back after college now, saying, oh my gosh, I couldn't stand you then, but thank you so much because you did that and the third, and I'm here now. That's my success, that on the inside I giggle when people feel like, because, and when you look at me on the outside, because it's some materialistic status of credit or money, you think I'm not successful, but there's some down inner successful that you have no idea that's being loosed in heaven by just being me. That we all have. You know what I'm saying? And at the second tone, to hear my brother's keeper, yeah, I am. Now, I can choose to act like, oh, well, I'm a woman, and because, I'm under a man, I ain't got to be keeping nobody. That's not true. We're talking about humanity. I'm one man. I'm still a part of mankind. I still got my role, and I still got my leadership role that I'm not giving up, let alone what I'm going to let a man take. But there's a certain leadership role we have as human beings that we have to adhere to. And this is why it makes me, too, my brother's keeper. That's absolutely right. If I see a man down, hurt, crying, and I know he needs the Lord, you're right. I better open up my mouth and say something and do anything that I can to try to help, not take care of, help. You know what I'm saying? So that is a role that, as a human being, having empathy, understanding what side of the road or the team you're on, which is on God's side, you're absolutely right. I'm supposed to help. You absolutely right. If you on drugs, I'm never supposed to give up on you. You absolutely right. If you keep messing up, I'm supposed to be there for you and be fighting for you just as hard as the drug dealers and the demons is. And when we learn that, we might be able to save them. That's why Mama kept Billy in the house, and she, no matter what he did, he always come back to that house. That's why, because you are blood, you are family, you are name, and we're not gonna have you out there on the street. And we started to stray away again from the values of family. And if you're not doing a certain thing a certain kind of way, the way I want you to do it, the way I feel it should be done, I want to disown you, and that's not right. We change that, we might change something else.
Ball you up and throw you away like an old piece of garbage or something.
Right.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I like everything everybody's saying, man. I like the question that was asked. And I really think greed and the other sins, those pretty much are no-brainers when you come to dysfunction and decline in character and quality of your community. But those type of questions, the questions that we're asking now, questions that I asked myself so many times. And I went past that and started asking myself, where did it get broken? How? And so, over time, having these discussions, I realized we do like to do a lot of talking, but we have examples right in our own history of how we could fix these problems. Like that's what I don't really hear a whole lot of, how we can fix it. The direct solutions. So I look and I realize where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
We over here are creative people. Somehow somebody was smart enough to take us, program us with a way of life that we adapted to and embraced it, and we just live by it. But now we asking questions of how we could control our own community without realizing the game plan was already in place. So I think about what Rodney was saying about the telephone, being up for 15 years. I remember my grandmama and them had their telephone, but man, up until she died.
Mm-hmm.
I was 40 years old. She had the same number before I was born.
Mm.
And that's consistent.
Yes, sir.
You have to teach consistency.
Mm-hmm.
That just can't be thrown on you and expected for you to know. The community these days, this younger generation, they have to be taught what a village or community is, because like I said, they didn't get to see it with their own eyes. We can't keep expecting them to know it because they hear us say it without showing what a village is.
Mm-hmm.
I could remember being so impressed with my grandfather at a young age, showing respect to another man that was older than him. That was impressive to me, but it also was a good example of respect, something that we lack. That had to be taught, though. Had I not seen my granddaddy answer to another older man with the same amount of respect, I might not have known that was due.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we really have the answers in place to fix our community. It's just we have to look back at what changed. What don't we do that we used to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things we just don't do in the community anymore. And we could get back to it. We could talk about what's going on, or we could go back and we could show this new generation what we used to do and what we saw.
Exactly.
And then they'll know better.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Frank, what's on your heart? And Bishop, coming to you next if you're there. Frank, what's on your heart?
Rico just pricked me from all the way where he's at. And he talked about solutions. And I was just thinking about something that I do with my boys a lot of times, and people look at it and shake their head, just go, boy, that man crazy. You know how grass will grow up between the cracks on your sidewalk.
Yeah.
I'll get 4 screwdrivers, or the dandelions grow up in your yard. And me and my boys will go out there and we'll spend all Saturday morning getting the grass out of the cracks, getting the dandelions out of the grass. And we'll repeat that process. And then I'll have people walk up to me and say, man, you can just get some spray and spray them cracks and they'll be gone. I say, man, but this is the time that I get to spend with my boys and so into them. What am I hurrying back to? That's the time that my father spent with me, out in the yard or up under a car. Just take it to the shop. No, that's the time my father spent with me changing the spark plug. And we would just have casual conversation. He would teach lessons. It's time spent. You can't throw money at everything. We need to spend time with each other. My pastor used to say, no investigation, no right to criticize. You see something and you want to speak on it, but you haven't spent any time with the person.
Okay.
No investigation, no right to criticize. If you're not going to get into their life and try to help, keep your mouth shut. But the one thing that I hope that we can agree on today, this morning, is something I think that Cornelius touched on. We need to really watch our language in public, man. And we need to be careful of the things that come out of our mouths, because we're already fighting a narrative that's very negative. And when we're conducting ourselves a certain way, it helps to feed that narrative, and it makes it harder. So I hope that, what he talked about as far as cussing, it may have seemed cute, but man, it's just, it's so rough now.
Yeah.
Even approaching people, when you hear some of the language and conversations, and we can just, our little cousins that may struggle with that, or some of our friends, we need to challenge them on that. The one thing that, you know, an older person told me, the people cuss because of their vocabulary is limited. They run out of words.
Exactly. That's true. That's absolutely true. Bishop, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Oh, okay. We'll
How y'all
talk.
doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, sir. Doing good. We're talking about the village. We're talking about the
Morning,
village.
sir.
You've been listening in to us?
No, yes, sir. I've been listening.
Okay. What's on your heart?
Well, it really is a us thing and not a me thing. When you use the terminology village, that's what I look at. I'm looking at us working together to make things better for us as a whole. Either whether it's dealing with the children or seeing a neighbor that is in distress, that's what we're here for. I heard the phrase, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And I want to take y'all back. It's referred in the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter, when God was talking to Cain about his brother Abel. And then Cain said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Being condescending or smart mouth. The God had already knew he had killed him. But when we come over to Mark chapter 3 and verse 30, we begin to read there, when his disciples, he was among his disciples, and his mother and his brother came to speak with him. And they came and told him, "Your mother seeks you without." And he looked about him, he said, "Well, who is my brother? Who is my mother?" He went on to say, "They that do the will of my Father." They told my brother, sister, and mother. So when it comes down to me being my brother's keeper, and I use that, you and I talk about that, and you're asking that question time to time as you and I are talking offline. And I say, "Yeah, I'm your brother. I'm here for you. I'm not going to do anything to hurt you or to destroy you. I'm going to do everything I can to help build you up." This is that village, because that's what it takes, us working together to build and have better for us. That me and my attitude of what we're dealing with in the White House right now, that's all about him, what he want, how he want it, where he want it. If you don't do it,
Yes,
he want it,
yes.
That's not what a brother does. Brothers don't do that.
Yeah.
I think I hear Frank talk a lot of times about his relationship with Rashid and where they've been. And I look at that. They've been together a long time, and Rashid can bless him out, and he'll take it constructively and move on. Sometimes you got to straight a person out, and that's what a brother does when he sees his brother in error doing something dumb and stupid. So the respect I have for Frank, the way he spoke and how he talked about it, the same thing with Leonard and Kurt, and just about everybody that I hear on this line, it's a concern. And as usual, Raheem, I got to go there. I can tell that you are that part of a village that want to make things better for the world. When you establish this program, this broadcast, and you allow us to come on and give our views and our opinions, this is what a brother does. Because it ain't about you, it's about us. And your thing is the other people. That's why I keep pushing DKM Media. That's why I keep talking about how great it is, how great you are. Because I want my brother to be successful in what he's doing. I love you, man.
Hey, love you as well.
Nothing you can do about it.
Come on now. Come on now. Rodney.
Yes, sir, Bishop. I feel the same way, Doc. I love him too.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it, man. Y'all cut that mess out, man. Rodney, what's on your heart? And then Cornelius coming to you next. Love you too, brother. Rodney?
Well, I just think it's wonderful hearing people putting their thoughts into this whole thing, because there is solutions to all of this. And some people feel like looking backwards is a bad thing, but I just remember not all new things are good. And when you look at some of the basic morals and the respect, I mean, and I just remember being a little kid growing up, and I could never imagine standing up in a grocery store cussing and stuff like that. And I was in the grocery store one day, and there was some young boys in front of me, and they were just cussing up a storm and cutting up, and it wasn't none of my business, and I didn't want to get all into it, because you got to be very careful how you correct folks. Some people can't take correction. But I tapped the young man on his shoulder. I said, "Young man," I said, "you see that old lady?" And it was a sister of an older black woman, and you kept seeing her turn around and look. And I tapped him. I said, "Hey, man, easy." I said, "You see that old lady right there?" And he caught it. He was, "Oh man, I'm sorry." And he poked his buddy. He said, "Hey man, chill." And And the thing is, I think that sometimes we have to pull, some of the older gentlemen can passionately correct you men and make them think like, wow, that was cool. He didn't come down on me. He wasn't talking to me like he was my daddy. He just said, hey, man, and just gave me a pointer, And so I think that there's a lot that we can do. And like I said, I just feel blessed that, I had this time with you, and God bless you.
Hey, bless you as well. Yes, sir.
For everything you're doing, and bless the community with good content and uplifting content like this. So God bless you all. And I got to hit this. I'm going to get ready to crash out because I got a long day, and I'm going to try to get a little nap in. So God bless you all, man. I'm signing off.
Hey, bless you as well. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate you, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Man, God bless you. Good hearing your voice again, man. Don't be a stranger. We miss you, brother.
Hey, I'll be back again real soon. God bless you guys.
Bless you as well. Cornelius.
Yeah, a couple quick things before I go on this too. And when you talk about my brother's keeper, it made me think back with what Rashid and Frank did about 3 years ago now. I think Frank has been about 3 or 4 years now, man. When my auntie had passed away, man, and I came back home to Detroit. And it's the first time and the only time I met Rashid and Frank in person. And we talked over the phone doing the Real Men Being Men, but them brothers came to the funeral. And that touched my heart because I barely knew the brothers. So they came to the funeral to support me.
Yes, sir.
In that aspect. And they didn't have to do that. And I wouldn't have looked no different from it, but I even gained more respect for what they did. Because, at the end of the day, we talk on the line and we hear each other. And I didn't know, I've lived in Detroit for over 30-something years. I never knew them brothers till I met you, Raheem. And on the Real Men Being Men. And them brothers took time out of their schedule to come and support me at my auntie's funeral. And for that, man, that's being a brother's keeper for real.
Yes, sir.
Because that was like a tough time in my life, man. I tried to play hard and tough and stand spiritually strong for my family, but at the end of the day, it hurt because I love that woman. And those one of the things that I appreciate what they did, man, for that. And that's being my brother's keeper, and that's how we should be. But in that aspect, I want to bring this up, man. I'm about to go to Proverbs chapter 6, and you can look at this later. And I'm going to start at 16, because I know we talk about the 7 deadly sins, but Frank alluded to this last week when he talked about the word hate. And 16 says this: these 6 things doeth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him, which abomination means detestable, nasty, a proud look, a lying tongue, a hands that shed innocent blood, which that what Cain did on his brother Abel, a heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among the brethren. Those are the things that God hates. To me, that's 7 deadly sins, because the Lord hates those things. And then to give it up, watch this, bro. It says here, a list of 7 things doeth the Lord hate. I'm just going to bring it in other words and say pride, lying, murder, wickedness, quarreling, gossip, bearing false witness, and stirring up trouble among the people. So that breaks up the village of people. When you constantly doing those things against each other, you're not being your brother's keeper, and you're not, and you're breaking up unity amongst each other. God hates that. And I don't want, like Frank said, I don't want to be that person. when I read that in Proverbs, because Proverbs is the book of wisdom, and really what Proverbs is really talking about is the true reverence of who God is. And that's something that we got to recognize in our society. If we begin to reverence God for who he is, and you look at that 7 list, you want to be your brother's keeper. You want to help those people in society to try to help build one another instead of tearing each other down and bringing disunity amongst the people. Why? Because God hates it. He said it's nasty, it's detestable, and it's ugly to him. So that is something that we got to really look at when we talk about 7 deadly sins. God hates those things. So that's just my take on it, man.
Good deal. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? And Leonard, come to you next.
Raheem, when you get a chance, I wanted to say something behind that, but go ahead.
Okay. Curtis, coming to you, and Leonard coming to you next. Then Frank, I'll hit you right after that. Go ahead, Curtis.
No, bro, go on and let Frank go, man, because I think Frank got my spirit is telling me Frank got a follow up to what Cornelius is saying that brings it home. We on second and third base. We need somebody to put up a sacrifice fly, you know what I mean? Bring us on to the house or take it out the park. So okay. Let Frank go, and then I'll just follow up behind Frank.
Now, Frank, can you bat him home?
I just want to share this on what he said. As far as where God's heart is in my brother's keeper. I walked out of my job with a friend of mine, and there was a young man that had just been robbed, had been assaulted and robbed. And I walked up to him, and this to me, this is my brother's keeper. I said, man, what happened to you? He said, man, God just robbed me and my brother, man. And he took our food. We bought some food, and he took it. And I said, from this Burger King right here? He said, yeah. I said, come on, man. Please, whatever you had, just go ahead and get it. And I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. He went there, he got all his food, and he was restored. And he said, man, thanks a lot, sir. I said, no problem. I went back to work. 25 years later, I had given my life to the Lord, fellowshipping at the Dunamis Outreach Ministry, and began to get in relationship with different people. And messed around and got into a relationship with Rashid. Introduced our families, and we began to kick it. One day, all of us are at dinner, and he tells a story about how he was on Grand River and Warren at Burger King, and some guys robbed him, and a man walked up and said, "Come on, I'm gonna get your food." I said, "Sheed, that was me." God put us together and then brought us back together 25 years later. There's purpose, and he has been a blessing in my life ever since. But he says, feed my sheep.
Exactly. Curtis?
Yeah,
man, stop crying, man. Stop crying, brother. Stop crying. Wipe your tears, man. Come on, let's talk.
I ain't crying today, bro.
Oh, okay.
I ain't crying today, and if I am, I'm crying tears of joy, brother.
Yes, sir.
For the rest of my life, I'm gonna cry tears of joy. I'm a part of the Morning Glow.
Come on.
It is a blessing to be able to understand and partake in the whole ideology of am I my brother's keeper? Me personally, I try my best to live my life according to that one slogan that's in the Bible. Although, like Bishop said, it came from a condescending person. But see, what the devil means for good, what the devil means for bad, God will always make it for good. Because what was not being understood when it was said by Cain is that this is going to be the moment where mankind is going to learn exactly what they're supposed to do for the people. So I live my life. I try my best to live my life according to that. And sometimes I get stepped on. Sometimes I get ran over. But then sometimes I'm reminded of stories just like the one Frank told. I remember when I first came into the ministry, brother, when I first came into the ministry in full and a greater understanding of what God's purpose was all my life, right? My first real encounter was with an atheist. An atheist. And then on top of that, a Caucasian American atheist. So we're not even going to go into all of those issues. And I serviced him and did what I had to do as far as what my job was at that time. And the young soldier started going to church with me. Went 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Right at about that 6 week to 2 month time frame, when it came time to open up the doors to the church, he got up and walked to the front of the altar and gave his life to God. Now, this kid had a background that was about as long as the Great Wall of China. So we proceeded him through the program, this, that, and the third. He moved on. I never heard from him again. About 5 years ago, my cousin called me and say, Kurt, this guy by the name of such and such is hitting me, asking me for your number. I thought it was my battle buddy because my battle buddy got the same exact name, spelled the same and everything. So I told her, yeah, give him my number. Tell him give me a call. I need to talk to him. We need to catch up. The young kid called me and he talking, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm talking about Germany. And he say, no, Mr. Kurt, I think you got me mixed up. You think I'm somebody else. I said, well, who is this? So when he told me who he was, man, I broke down. Because you know what he said? He said, I just wanted to get in contact with you and tell you thank you. Because what you did for me when I was in that program, it changed my life, Mr. Kurt. I got a good job. I ain't been back to jail since then. I'm ready to get married, and I'm expecting my firstborn. And if you don't mind, I would like to give my firstborn your name as his middle name. Man, that thing had me welted up with tears because it let me know right then and there that although I may falter, although I may stumble, if I just try my best to continue to be my brother's keeper, irregardless to what color he is, irregardless to what nationality he is, irregardless to whatever, that my legacy, the legacy that God has ordained for me to have, will always be here on earth.
Absolutely.
In so many words, I'll just end it with this. In so many words, the promise that God gave to Solomon will always reign here. In our scripture text, God promised Solomon that his harem would live forever.
Good deal.
So in hearing what the brothers just said, man, it really, I needed to hear that. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Cornelius.
Absolutely.
Because I really, really needed to hear and understand just what that purpose was for me.
Good deal. Toya, what's on your heart right now? Toya, you there?
No, I mean, great. Yeah, I'm here. Great conversation. These are dialogues that need to be heard. Oftentimes, hey, when God got to get his point across, he's going to get his point across. And oftentimes, it's not always in our households. You know, we can look at around and know that everybody does not have what we've been blessed to have as we talk about what we're talking about on the show. You know what I'm saying? And this show can set somebody free.
Praise
these
God.
conversations, these understandings, these hearing advice from a male point of view and a woman point of view might be exactly what they need for the Lord to take flight in their life. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is very important for us to continue to have these open dialogues and, you know, express from a true position on how we feel as these life daily matters. But not only that, you know, we have to understand that some people are just not on this level. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's oftentimes that we feel like everybody should get it because we get it. But there's a level lower and there's a level higher that may not identify with us. And we have to still just be diligent and stand firm in what our belief is and not sway due to that fact.
Exactly.
Because if it's God, they all gonna see. But great conversations that they got.
Good deal. Good deal. To God be the glory. Donald, what's on your heart?
I caught still in a lot of it, but you know, God has a way of including people and not excluding. He has a plan to bring us all in, and we as being each other's keeper look at, because we're different in some kind of way or another, try to figure out how we can exclude people. But when we just do like some do, we don't have to know a person to help them or to them to be our brother. All they have to do is be in a need.
Come on.
And we fulfill that need. I can say all I want to. I'm gonna pray for you. And you naked. And I walk off. You know what I'm saying? We are in the ministry of running the mouth. Running the mouth, Baptist Church, Pentecostal, evangelism. But when you see a person that's standing on the side of a restaurant and he asks you, man, I need $1 or something like that, to go get me, I'm trying to get me something to eat. The easiest thing to do is say, come on, in here with me. And then maybe they have a stench on them. But you sit down right there and tell the waitress or whoever, get him what he wants. And I'll pay for it. And go on about your business. I guarantee you that's going to come back to you.
Yeah.
It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It might not be this year. But you know how we used to sing that old song, you can't beat God's given.
Come on.
How you try. Just give it in the spirit of love. And it'll come back, pressed down, shaken over, running together. I might have not quit. Shaken together, running over. You'll never be able to show words of gratitude when it comes back around. If you just do it.
Exactly.
In the spirit that the God gives.
Absolutely. 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 Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I would really believe that brother's keeper thing is true, you know, and I believe at the same time we have to be careful. I ain't gonna need to be careful, but be mindful that some of our brothers don't want to be kept. Most of them don't want to be kept until they are going through some kind of despair. So I mean, you know, you ever seen somebody doing something wrong, but they wasn't suffering any consequences from it? So when you tried to tell them they were doing right, you ended up being in a combative situation. Trying to be your brother's keeper.
Yeah.
So you have to really, you know, sometimes you have to sit back and enjoy the service, and then because you know what the outcome is going to be. So I mean, and it's sad that you have to be that way, because I've learned the hard way quite a few times. I mean, I've you know, been in a lot of situations where trying to be the good guy, I like to almost have to take somebody's life because they got a little out of hand. Just trying to tell somebody or offer some advice of what's right or prevent somebody from getting in worse trouble. I almost ended up in that trouble. So I mean, you know, we in our heart, I think we do know that we are supposed to be our brother's keepers, but if we're not careful, sometimes we will start minding our own business because we don't want the conflict from this dysfunctional society we live in. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. A lot of times we're saying a lot of stuff, a lot of good sayings, quotes, and true facts that we're saying, but they are only words. These people don't have examples of what we're talking about. You know, when we actually talking about being a brother's keeper, they need to see an example of that and realize that it's just not as being like with honor amongst thieves. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't always cut and dry.
Really discern. Oh, my man.
It's not always cut and dry. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Exactly. We definitely got to break it down and make it clear because, you know, some people take I think Kurt said sometimes the devil will make a word, but God will change it around and make it work for us. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes people will take the good word and switch it around. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I mean, you know, we really have to be mindful of who we want to keep. And then I ain't gonna say who we want to keep, when we decide to keep them, when we decide to step in. I mean, we can't be a superhero all the time because I've seen a lot of heroes end up being the victims.
Exactly. Good deal. Bishop, what's on your heart? Leonard, come to you next. Bishop. I'm about to say it to you, brother. I'm about to say it. Toya, what I'm about to say to him.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay. All right.
Off you.
Okay. Oh, she was about to hit you, brother. She was about to hit you. What's on your heart, Bishop?
I'm just in here, man, and talking to my buddy. We sitting there listening to the show. We're making comments. We're back on that. You know, I'm my brother's keeper.
Yes, sir.
And he began to talk about forgiving folks, not holding stuff on nobody. Let it go. You live and experience. You live, you learn, and you keep moving. And so I'm going back to that. Just thinking about, am I my brother's keeper? That's something we really need to talk about. Am I gonna hold something against somebody that did something to me? And these folks going on about their business, they living, and you still sitting right here mad, upset. I'm gonna just let stuff go, man. So you can be happy in your own life.
Let me ask you this though, Bishop. Does am I my brother's keeper? Does that also include making sure that, you know, your brother is held accountable for some of the things?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't delineate anything because you got to tell him where he's wrong. You got to straighten him out sometimes. That's what I said about, you know, Frank and Rashid. Now, if Frank is doing something wrong, Rashid say, hey, bro, you know, you think you should have did that like that? I don't think you should have did it like that. And just straight up with it. And then, you know, Frank, he may be upset for a moment, then you get to think about it. Yeah, Rashid was right in what he said. I'm the same way. You know, I said, you know, you corrected me the other day. I didn't get mad at you. I said, you're right, man. I'm sorry. Because I knew where it was coming from. It was coming out of a good place.
Exactly. Good deal.
So, you know, that's the thing about it, being able to take correction or instruction without getting all bent out of shape. And that's what a friend do. That's what a brother does. He straightens you out when you're in error, and you should appreciate it. And that's one thing I really appreciate about you, Raheem. Yeah, you straighten the brother out. If I'm wrong, you straighten me out, and you still love me the same, no matter how bad I act.
And you can act up, brother. You can act up. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what's on your? Yes, sir.
Me and Leonard is my twin.
Look at both of y'all can act up. I'm just gonna tell the truth. To my Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, just listening to the conversation is enlightening to me to a point, because all of us have different missions, I would say. And what I have always known about myself is I'm not going to beg you to do what's right. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to beg and plead with you to do the right thing. That's why I'm different than a lot of people. I have this notion, I don't have these issues in my life because I don't want them there. And I don't allow people to become those issues I don't want in my life. So I require self-responsibility. You do not get the pass with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, we are going to fall out. I just can't hang out with folks that don't want to do right. There's nothing we have in common.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a long time to just say that with people, and to when they explain, well, are you always like that? I guess I am, because I always have been. But it has always been my mission to do the best that I can. I remember an old chemistry instructor that I had, and this was this old white Garfunkel looking dude, very smart, but he reminded me of Garfunkel. Am I saying Gargamel? Excuse me, from the Smurfs.
Oh Lord!
And this white man would wear this kitchen-made tie, all this, but he said one thing every day before we took an exam that I still say today: always do your best. No one should expect more, nor should they accept any less than the very best that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I have grown to the point to let other men know, you need to deal with him in the rough. That may be your calling, but it's not mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people, get in where you can fit in, because there's somebody that you will be able to help that I can't reach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what's most important. Like my personal leadership credo, I will strive to contribute my knowledge, all my knowledge, skills, abilities, and talents and resources to make decisions that exemplify my commitment to my fellow citizens. I will respect the diversity of my community in terms of my personal conduct and contribution. My desire is to leave a legacy of enlightenment and hope to anyone who desires to follow in my footsteps.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I am not here to be your God, your judge, or anything else. But I hope that I am presenting to you an example that you may want to follow, hopefully. And if you don't, that's fine. Maybe there's someone else out there. But we have to understand that, like, I like what Rico says a lot, because Rico comes from that place where I know a lot of people are, especially in our community as Black men. It's more so about not being made a fool of than anything. That's what usually men don't like. But if you are a fool, you need to admit that as soon as possible and get on the right track.
Good deal. Mm-hmm.
Before you be foolish the rest of your life. Because you don't want the preacher not to be able to say nothing when you're laying there.
Mm-hmm.
What are your children going to say? What is your parents going to say if they're still alive? I just lost my mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little over a year ago. That was the standard bearer right there. Every day I couldn't leave my house without her telling me, who you are and whose you are.
Mm-hmm.
My granny say, you know who you are and whose you are. You're not going to be out here acting and showing out like everybody else, because you ain't everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so once we raise the standards and understand that, one, there are some people that want to live up to a certain standard and some people that don't.
Okay, good deal.
I love the one verse about casting pearls before swine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of wisdom in that saying. Don't get your heart broken, your feelings hurt, because don't nobody say or want to follow or do what you do or agree with you. Just keep doing the best you can. And trust me, like these brothers that just said, they'll come back.
Good deal.
Because they'll remember where they changed.
Good deal. Got to keep it moving, man. We got another caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Cassandra calling from Atlanta.
You back in Atlanta? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
She done came back home. Lord, my Jesus. Because our topic today, we talk about my brother's keeper right now, but our topic today is the village. What happened to the village? Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Or do people even care about the village anymore? What do you say to that?
I don't think people care about the village anymore, or they act like they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that the village mentality that we had when I was coming up was like this. You act a fool in the street in our neighborhood, Miss Jones gonna grab you up by your neck, smack your behind if necessary, and then call your mama, and by the time you get home, you're getting another whipping. That is what a village mentality is. That is where the one of my friends, her father was a neighborhood alcoholic. When we saw him, when he was straight during the week, we respected him. When he was drunk during the weekend, we still respected him. And we made sure he got home. Everybody watched out to make sure he got back to his house at the end of the day. So, you know, I think that we have lost that because everybody is we're so separated. And then, you know, it's like, I'm just going to mind my own business. Well, what if something is happening at your house? At least wouldn't you want your neighbor to say, oh, dang, I think something going on at Miss, you know, and at least try to help or call the police or something. We've lost that.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the insensitivity came from, but it's sad. And we need to get back to the village mentality, especially in Black neighborhoods. We used to our neighborhood was always clean. I wish a Negro would throw something down in our neighborhood on the ground and not pick it up and try to find the trash can if you could. You know, but it's all of this kind of stuff, community has seemed to disappear.
Okay. Now, I asked a question earlier about greed and said, what has greed played in destroying the village? What part did greed play in that?
You know, when you say greed, I mean, that can be taken a lot of ways. But what I see is like the young men in the neighborhoods that are dealing the drugs, or tearing up the neighborhood, or got people in terror. A lot of it is because they're trying to make it. Economics has played a huge part of that. And in working with the prison system, federal, local, and state level, for over 30-something years, I asked these young men, what happened? Why were you dealing drugs in your neighborhood? I needed to help my mama. I need to try to, I can't go on a $6, $7 job and make sure that my family is okay, blah, 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 blah. And I can't get in. I'm not getting the education that I need. It's so many different dynamics that they would say. But the bottom line is it was economics. It wasn't so much that they were greedy. And then some of them did get greedy as they went on and saw the kind of money that they could make. But it was economics. They only wanted to make it. They wanted to be able to take care of their families. I'm not saying dealing drugs is an excuse. I'm just saying what I've been told over the 30-something years that I've dealt with men mainly in prison.
Good deal. Curtis,
women.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you say to that, Curtis? Curtis, are you there?
Yeah, what I say to what Cassandra just said?
Yes, sir.
Cassandra, say your last point again. That way I can make sure I'm on point.
Oh, I don't even know what my last point was. I don't know.
It was based on economics. They were doing drugs.
Yeah. The greed level that a lot of the young, especially the young men in our neighborhoods have, it wasn't so much about greed at first. It was about surviving. It was about economics.
Absolutely. What she just said, it directly ties into the plot in America to promote one element or one society in America to have more wealth than the other. And with you having more wealth, you have more status. With you having more status, you have more control over the masses. So it feeds into what folks would call in studying human behavior and governmental institutions, it promotes what you would call intergenerational wealth. You understand? And when you go back and you look at it, the intergenerational wealth that was promoted was solely based on greed. It was solely based on the ideology that I'm going to promote one side of a society. I'm going to promote one side of society unequally. Like I'm going to give I'm going to give my own this and give the other nothing. And like she said, in those earlier days, the ideology of survival, or what some people would call the first law of man, which is self-preservation, was prevalent, because that given segment of society, their lives were always in question. Their worth was always in question. Their value was always in question. What do I mean? Well, my value was only stated in what I could make for you, not what I could make for myself, not what I could make for my family and or my village, but my value upon coming to this country was all based on what I could make for someone else. So, you know, it kind of ties into the ideology of, I've read some accounts, some old slave narratives and stuff like that. And even if you read the Willie Lynch letter, he says in the Willie Lynch letter, if you want to control your slaves, you have to break the buck. The buck being the strongest and most capable male. So when you really break it all down, there was and is and continues to be an economic push that perpetuates the ideology of one side having more than the other.
That's good.
So that one side can control more of the other, if that makes sense what I'm saying. She dead on point, man. It's all economics, man.
Good deal.
All economics.
Frank, what do you say to that? Economics.
Well, it's economics, but it has nothing to do with us succeeding financially. At the end of the day, it's a trap. I mean, if you look at how this thing, and I'm going to speak from Detroit. I'm not going to speak from anywhere else, because this is where I was born and raised, and this is what I know. You know, I played ball all of my life, so it's just funny how ball players run with drug dealers. You know, a lot of them were my friends, and we just hung out together. We went to parties together. We ate together. We did a lot of things together, and we were in the same neighborhood together. They let us do our things. We let them do their thing. But the one thing that I saw, and you got to remember, the government and everybody is involved in the sale of narcotics. And what they do is they allow a certain amount of success. And when they do that, they're grooming the next person. So when they send a black man to jail, they already have his replacements in place. They don't care how much money he's making. If he's making $1 million, he's made them $100 million. They could care less about that. And they destroy our communities on purpose, because in order for them to be able to continue to recruit young men to sell drugs, there has to be a certain amount of where you think there's nothing else you can do. But they make the drug game look so good because they let that guy, in the sake of investigation, they let him succeed. They let him get the car. They let him get the big home. They let him have all the girls, the clothes. So then youth, they're looking at him and they're saying, wow, I can be a millionaire. I can do that because I know him. We grew up together. He came from nothing and now he's successful. I can do that. It makes sense in their mind. And then you have the guys that are in the game telling you that you're a sucker for working a 9 to 5. Dude, why you going every day humping that job, bringing home $800 a week? I can give you that right now. It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
It is a trap, but it is $1 billion at the minimum business per year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but what we have to quit doing is we have to stop allowing the media to tell us things like the no snitch rule, putting that right on TV. You don't snitch, you know, and we have to get a hold of our youth and give them other alternatives and keep them away from these people. We have to keep them away from them.
Exactly.
Now, let me say this, and I'm going to shut up. When I say keep our youth away from drug people, I am not speaking down to people that get caught in this trap. They're just caught up, and they can come out of it. But we need to make it unattractive to them, and the community needs to do that.
And see, my grandmother taught me something a long time ago. And my grandmother, she's going home to glory. Mary, she's on the phone. She know how I feel about my grandmother. She said, if you're gonna take something from somebody, you have to give them something of equal or greater value. So what do we have to offer these young people? Rico, I'm coming to you with this. What do we have to offer these young people that is equal or greater value than being out there on the streets? What do we have to offer them?
Well, we need to offer them wisdom and knowledge. That's what we really need to offer them. We need to offer them what we know and hands-on. I was on a stream the other night with Brother Ben X. I don't know if y'all know him, but he's rather young. It was a young panel. And so I was able to say things like that, and it really clicked to him. You have to lead by example. Words are only sound that come out your mouth. Somebody gonna say some more words right after that. You know, sometimes they will stick because we have some kind of logic within us, but most of the time, you know, we're gonna go by what we see. We're gonna know whatever is in our nearest environment is what we're gonna see. So we got to take the time out actually to hands-on be our brother's keeper, like we say. But I don't want to get off of it, man. I'm sitting up there smiling ear to ear, man. This thing came full circle for me. First off, Sandra was talking about my granddaddy when she said that about the town drunk. I mean, that was him, but at the same time, he had so many values. So when Curtis said something about control, I knew it came back around because I was gonna say something about control about an hour and a half ago. I was gonna say something about control, but I didn't want to go there because it sounded like it might have been a little bit too far left. But I was wondering, did oppression, which, you know, oppression could be the bad way of saying it, but control would probably be a little lighter. Was oppression and control what was necessary for us to keep our village intact? Because I think about my grandparents, they were the children of the terrorized. They were the children of the ones that couldn't farm. They had, you know, it was against the law for them to farm and feed their families. My grandmother and my grandfather, they were the children of that. So they were able to actually see firsthand, just from emotion and passion and action from their parents, what to do. They got that example. So they were able to keep that village because the village, it was necessary for survival at that point in time. From the day we came over here and had everything stripped from us, we had to start finding some kind of way to unite just to survive because everybody was in the same boat. So I'm wondering, did freedom destroy our village? Or did it just destroy the mindset? Did it just distract us from the mindset? But it came for a second. I was just thinking about that. I said, well, I don't want to say oppression or control.
Let me do this.
May have lacked it, but I mean, do we really need oppression and control to bring the community back?
Let's go to Donald. Donald, what do you say to that? Donald? Somebody got a signal on. Somebody got a signal on in the background. I can hear that signal real strongly. Everybody mute your line.
Like
Yeah,
I'm
trying to unmute that button there.
Okay.
Man, I had never thought that way, but because see, we stepped together because we know that there was an oppressor, and there was strength in unity. So we always were struggling together. So and this is me saying it, to survive through it, we made the village.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, you didn't have to worry about anybody. And just I just thought about it. Even neighborhood to neighborhood, nobody could come from another neighborhood and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We even protected or looked out for the young girls in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You better not.
Yeah.
You better not mess with her.
Exactly.
Because she lived right down my street.
Mm-hmm.
So we all gonna go down there and see about you because you came to the neighborhood and caused some dysfunction. So it wasn't a gang fight or nothing like that. But we would look out for each other because we was all oppressed together. So I never did think about that. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Good.
That makes sense.
Good. Cassandra, what do you say to that?
I totally, Rico, I totally agreed with everything that Rico said. This is the crazy thing. And even what Donald just got to saying, this is the crazy thing. Why is it that it seems like we only wake up and start realizing that we need each other when we're under the type of situations like we are right now in this country? Now you have everybody polarizing together, Black, white, Italians, Latinos, everybody is trying to come together to say, is something wrong? We need to do something about what's happening in this country. And so now I'm willing to cross over the line to do something about it. That what is happening right now is a spirit of oppression. I don't care how you look at it. It is a spirit of oppression. And we have to come together in order to destroy that. Now I'm talking both in the spirit and the natural realm. There is a spirit of oppression hitting this country. And it's going to take us coming together spiritually, those of us that are spiritual, because everybody doesn't have the same belief system, but we have to come together in order to see the change happen. Mm-hmm. That's gay, straight, black, white, orange, green, or all the colors, all the rainbow colors. Everybody has to come together now in order to see this country come back into a spirit of unity.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Man, I'm looking at the clock, man. We were actually running out of time. Toya, you there? What's on your heart? Give me the quick version, sis.
Oh yeah, man. Good talk. I mean, that's absolutely true. I've heard a lot of people say that we should have never got free. But I think that it turned into a reverse oppression. Once you try so many times and you keep getting knocked down, after a while you start telling your kids, oh, don't even worry about it, But we got to understand, and I try to go deep with God. This systematic oppression is woven into the imprint of where we are. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's like it was always something, especially after, Black Wall Street, things like that. I mean, it was a really deep situation for our people. And I think just generationally, it became a reverse oppression. I think it took a turn in the 80s with drugs. You know what I'm saying? I think that, again, they sat back, they studied, they watched, they learned psychology, and they learned how to campaign oppression. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And then I think that we grabbed onto that because we were conditioned in an environment. This is a huge spiritual, and she's right, spiritual taking over that has taken place. And mm-hmm. I think that's, why we have to, like she said, become spiritual and understand that in order to be released from it. But yeah, everybody got some great feedback on how we going to be able to create this village. And I think an important part of moving forward, we have to want to look over them being gay. You got to want to look over whatever it is that they've done or may have done or whatever it is that they passed and come to a common ground and say, okay, moving forward, this is what we're going to do collectively despite our differences. We got one goal, and that's to make sure that humanity understands how to be humane.
Good deal. Good deal. Mary, anything on your heart right now?
Just listening along.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, it is.
And good morning, Miss Cassandra.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for saying hello.
No problem.
Lord, look. They're having a moment. They're having a moment. They're having a moment.
A moment.
They're having a moment. My God. They're having a moment, y'all. Well, listen.
Hey,
Kurt.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Before you in the show.
Huh?
Before you in the show, Rico asked the question, do we need to be oppressed in order to have community? I just want to go back to scripture real quick. And scripture deals with everything. And it's funny how the word of God used the thing that may seem the smallest to deal with that. And it says to consider the ant, that she goes about her way with no rule or guide. And it's basically giving us a blueprint without a ruler, without an overseer, without someone standing over you. Do what it is that you're supposed to do, even if you have to consider the life of an ant, how it does what it does without an overseer. So no, we don't need that, but we need to have a sense of urgency without being oppressed.
Good deal. Hey, Curtis. Curtis, you there?
Yeah, what up, bro?
Man, give us that advertising for us, man, for what's going on at 3 o'clock today. Give it to us, man.
Here today at 3 p.m. If you wish to hear the show in its entirety, you can log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com to hear the show again in its entirety at 3 p.m. www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal.
Tune in at 3 p.m.
And brother, put some spice on it. Yes, sir.
Hey, can I give me a little shameless plug in, man? Y'all tune in to the Wilson on Tuesday, man. I need some phone calls now. You know, so y'all show me some love. I've been coming on there. It's a little rough around the edges, but I trust me. I think y'all will like something with a topic. Just tune in every Tuesday. Tell them about it, Raheem.
Yes, sir. Every Tuesday from what time to what time? Tell them what time. Tell them the time, brother. You can't just put it out there like that. Tell them what time.
5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on DKM Media Group. Y'all check me out. I'm just an old country boy from Alabama trying to get my voice out.
Hey man, look, he being humble, man. He got a great show, man. He has some wonderful guests that come on the show, man. They be talking about a lot of things that's really moving people in a real positive way. Don't let him downplay it, man. And if y'all get the opportunity, definitely call in. I know that the weeks that he got lined up already that he's already told me about, y'all definitely gonna be interested in what he's talking about. So man, if y'all can, 5 o'clock from 5 to 6, right here at DKM Media Group every Tuesday, man. Y'all tune in, log in, call in. And Kurt, you got something going on Friday, don't you? Did Kurt hang up? Yo, Kurt done hung up. He done hung up. I was gonna put him on the spot, but Kurt got something going on Friday. We'll get y'all up to speed. Let him talk about that tomorrow. Let me see who we got left here. Sheed, you still there? Oh, I think okay. I thought we had lost Sheed. Let me see who we got left here. You know what, Mary. Mary gonna get quiet.
Yes,
Okay, pray us out, baby. Yes, I'm gonna do it, baby. Just say what's on your heart.
It's gonna be very short.
That's fine. You short.
Everybody bow your head and close your eyes if you can. Heavenly Father, we come to you as humbly as we know how. Thank you for this day and everything that you've done for us thus far. Thank you for the many blessings that you'll do in the future and for keeping us all healthy and safe. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful prayer, baby. Beautiful prayer.
Amen. That was beautiful, my baby.
Thank you.
Lord.
Amen. Hey, Miriam. Miriam.
Yes.
This is Frank from Detroit. I just want you to know, by you not speaking to me through this whole broadcast, I'm coming there now, and I'm gonna crash your car. How about that? Okay? I just want you to know that. I was waiting. I'm sorry?
As long as I can crash yours back.
No. You already threatened to crash my car. But I just want you to know, I'm coming where you are now, and I'm going to run something real old raggedy into your car. So just be on the lookout.
Old and raggedy.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least we get to see each other.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see me soon.
That's my baby girl right there. Boy, look here. I'm gonna tell you one thing. She got to come back now. She always got to come back. But listen, it is what is it? 10:04, man. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and more than that, thank you for allowing DK and Media Group and associates to be a part of your morning. It is now 10:05. You're about to exit the morning glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors.
Before we go,
Now who is this?
This is Frank. Before we go, Raheem. Before we go.
Yeah.
We get a lot of feedback. But before we go, man, there's an obvious absence on the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Could somebody just pray, man, just a prayer over our sister? We're talking about, are you my brother's keeper?
Mm-hmm.
Can we cover our sister, because their absence is obvious, and that's just been on my heart.
Mm-hmm. Good. Praise God. Absolutely. And everybody mute your line. Corey, y'all getting a little feedback from somebody's line. Everybody mute your line for me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who is that saying good morning?
This is Brian.
Bishop
Brian Young. I just saw the broadcast on my phone, and I thought I'd call in and try to get a question in. Is Rico Jackson and his guest still there?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Hey man, how you doing?
Courtney. I had a question for Theo, and it's Courtney. It is, right?
No.
The question is, have they did any studying on the Moorish American history? Because we was talking about Black history, talking about Hobson City and I am a native of Hobson City, and I also helped Theo collaborate on the film.
Okay.
But as well, the question is Moorish American history. I've been studying a lot on the Moorish American history, and it's very interesting that our roots tie into that.
Okay.
And that was a very interesting documentary as well. I just wanted to drop that note, try to see if Theo and Rico and them would do a little more research into that and maybe expand on that a little bit.
Okay, and what's your name again?
What I have. Sir Bryant Young.
Bryant Young. Okay. Rico, you there?
I can't hear Rico.
Rico. Okay. Let me get Rico to get back in contact with you. I think we may have lost Rico.
Okay, we may have lost him. I got Rico's number though. I can give him a call. I just tried to catch him.
Okay, good deal.
Is Theo still on the line?
Oh no. They was actually on yesterday. They was on yesterday from let me see. I think
okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay,
I think
that's
this
fine.
hold on 1 second. Rico, you back? Rico.
Yeah.
The gentleman Brian Young is want to speak to you for a second, real quickly before we get out of here. He's asked you the question.
Before we get out of here, Rico. Hey, Rico. Go ahead, Rico. I'm sorry. Okay, Brian. Rico, this Brian. I was calling in, and I was really bringing the question to Theo and them to see if they would do a little more insight into the Moorish American history of our people. It is very interesting. I've had that discussion with you before, and I would like for people to get a little more information on that. And that was really the reason that I had called in.
Go ahead, Rico. We're going to get out of here, brother. But go ahead, answer real quickly.
Yeah, man. Look, you could just hit me up, man. They get ready to get off the air, but
okay.
But that's really something that you can probably fill us in more on. But right now, he's really doing the educational things in Alabama because he came from from being a school teacher and saw what was lacking. So that is some of the things that he's going to intend on addressing later on, though. I'm pretty sure he is.
Good deal. Good deal.
That's fine. Thank you, Rico. Thank you, DMK, and I look forward to getting back in touch with you guys.
Good
Rico,
deal.
I'll
God
get
bless
with
you.
You too as well.
God bless you, brother. Appreciate you calling. All
Be
right.
safe.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Now, it is 10:09. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. We're about to get out of here for today. Do me a favor if you don't mind. Go out there and find somebody. And again, say it one more time. Give them some love. Can never say it enough. You just might find some love in return. Have a great day.